Yeah, it sure is.
Nice.
I'm just going to wait for this to kick in. There's a slight. Oh yeah, there it goes. All right, cool. Hello, welcome to WyzGyz Entertainment. This is your host Wyman, and let's see. We are joined by a special guest. Uh, is it pronounced Karl Stephan? Or is it Stefan?
Yeah, Karl Stephan.
Stefan.
Karl Stephan. There we
All
go.
right. And I don't know if I've ever asked you, but is Chubb like a nickname?
Yeah, it is. It's because I was a fat kid at school, and
Oh,
other kids thought they were smart and came up with all sorts of names for me, and I just picked Chubb as a. But years later, it turns out chub is also now it means half flaccid penis or something. So me trying to own the joke didn't really work all that well. But it's too late now. I'm sticking with chub. I don't I don't care anymore.
well, it's cool
It's a
that you.
perfectly good.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I
No,
was just
I
going to say it's a perfectly good surname. Yeah. So there you go. People have it worse than me.
true. I think it's cool that you took ownership as a kid and just rolled with it. That's
So to speak. Yeah.
yeah, that's probably the way to handle it. That's cool. Oh my gosh. So we're checking out Mary Boys. Oh my gosh. And this is your first project, right? Your first Indiegogo campaign?
Yeah, it is. I was meaning since probably about 2012 or so to do a crowdfunder. Back then, it was only Kickstarter, and it was it was in the back burner for quite a while. And eventually, with CG coming in, it just became more and more of a prospect until eventually, yeah, just went for it, unprepared, but yeah, see, things seem to have worked out quite well.
Being your first one, did you do a lot of research in how to crowdfund, or did it like come naturally, and was it easy to learn for you?
I think I was very lucky, because what I think even back then people were saying before you start your campaign, do at least a year's worth of channel building up your networks, etc. And I try to do that. You know what? I've just realized that I haven't plugged in my laptop. It's probably going to die in a second. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Sorry about this. Let me just get
Not a
the cable
problem.
before it kicks the bucket.
Oh yeah, for sure.
One sec. Okay. Yeah, luckily I just spotted that power bar. Otherwise we'd have problems later on. Make sure the thing is switched on at the wall. Great. All good. Yeah, so I didn't really do anything by the book. I just threw caution to the wind, and I thought to myself, well, I can keep trying to build this thing, which what didn't seem to be getting any sort of traction at all. And I thought, I could spend another 2 years trying to do this before I launch, or I could just try and launch and just try my luck. And luckily, I fell into the network, and things just started from there. So I think it's just blind luck. There wasn't any rhyme or reason to it.
When you said you fell into it, do you mean you came across a lot of people in Comicsgate who kind of helped give you some tips and tricks on navigating it, or did you actually connect early on with people in what is now CGUK?
Well, I always knew that CG was the place that I wanted to be. So I latched onto. I followed everybody from there that I could, and I got into that long before I was ready to do the campaign. I just started, listening and it was Antonio Bryce, Ikari Press,
Uh-huh.
who gave me. I think it was one of the first YouTube interviews that I had, and from there on, Ethan came onto the stream,
Oh,
and he
damn.
invited me onto his show, and it just projectile after that. So
Holy
that
cow.
was pretty much it.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
it was like, I mean, if you hadn't seen it, and Antonio's got quite a popular stream as well. So I got quite a few backers of Antonio's stream, and then it just took off after uh, Ethan gave me a chance. So that was
Wow.
all. It was all luck as well, I'm concerned. But for this time around, for the new campaign with this new feature that Indiegogo has, where you can actually run a mailing list
Mm-hmm.
for 6 months before you launch, I'm going to get that up. The plan is to get that up and running as soon as possible, like Charlie's London is doing,
Yep.
and start the promotion process now already, as soon as I can. Just put on. I'm just getting together some art, and then I'll be and a video. I need to be able to do a proper video this time. I realized, and just get it rolling, get people interested and
Yeah.
signed up.
Yeah. I think intro videos are really, I personally think they're important. I think they help a lot in fleshing out what it is you're selling, what the product is, what the story is, and other basics like how many pages the book is, and if you'll have other talent working with you, who that might be, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's very important. And I think my old video was terrible. My delivery wasn't very exciting. I didn't touch all the important information points because there's still people who weren't clear how many issues it would be, how many pages there would be, and stuff like that. So I think this time I'll be a little bit more prepared, and I want to make it a bit more visually engaging too. So let's live and learn. I think it's something you need to do once and fail and try again to be able to do better the next time.
Right, right. Um, Wanted to take a moment here and welcome William Crawford Hazel. Hey there.
Wallet.
And he says, Mary Boys is the best indie comic I've read in
Oh,
years.
it does
Uh,
exaggerate, Wally.
there's actually a lot of talk, throughout Comicsgate who echo the same sentiment. Yeah, people love your book. Welcome,
Um,
Michael Hing Art.
okay. All my CGUK homies.
Yeah, yeah, CGUK is awesome. Um, all right. Yeah. So, did you, when you started the campaign, have an idea of how much it was going to take you, or how much you were thinking about in terms of cost, as to how much would be required to put this together and uh, publish and fulfill? Did you have a certain number
Yeah,
in mind?
yeah, I did. I think the big question mark was postage because I knew that it would straddle March, and every March our postage international postage costs go up. It's a bigger factor posting to foreign countries because most of the Comicsgate market is in the US. It just is. I think about 70% of my backers are there. So that was a big question mark. I didn't know how much packaging would cost exactly, how much packaging I would need. I would kind of have to see. I would have to have the actual product, printed product first, and then see how am I going to stabilize it um, for shipping. So that there were a few question marks. Luckily, obviously, I'm drawing and writing and lettering and doing everything myself, so I didn't have to pay any freelancers or anything like that. Otherwise, it would have been a lot more expensive. I mean, people who are doing that, who are writing and getting an artist on board, they would have to raise, well, a lot more money before they break even. I think you would be having. I, I worked it out for a 48-page book, paying the going rate. You would have to raise, I think, at least about $14,000 or so just to pay everybody, just to pay the
Mm,
postage, the
the-
packaging, get everything printed, and pay your freelancers before you can send it out. Pretty much. So yeah, I wouldn't say I had exact numbers, but I try to, I had a range. I worked to the outer extremity of that range.
Cool. Yeah, it's gonna have some sense. Did you say? I might have heard wrong, but did you say something about postage rates going up in March?
Every March in the UK, postage rates get adjusted
Oh, really?
one,
Does it
one
get
way.
significantly increased every time?
Yep, yep. I think it went up a pound from when I launched the campaign to when we started fulfilling.
Oh,
So
wow.
that was we were just out of pocket by that because we couldn't have predicted how much it would have been. But no,
I
so it
know.
goes. It's the lay of the land.
I know. In the U.S., every year or 2 years, they want to jack up the first class postage by a few cents at a time. So maybe
Mm.
it's more or less the same kind of deal. Oh, that's crazy. They keep increasing
I'm
the
just
prices over time.
I'm just wondering, because I mean, even if it does keep increasing exponentially, like how long will it carry on until crowdfunding doesn't really become such a viable thing anymore? That's all. I'm just wondering how, because at some point you will reach nil return, not nil returns, but your bank accounts will go down, your product will become more expensive, and then we have to start thinking about adjusting the way we do things, either printing and fulfilling in the other country where you've got the biggest market, but then you have to work with a fulfillment company, which costs money,
Mm-hmm.
and it won't necessarily do the same sort of job as you would do, putting in that care into your own project.
Right.
So yeah, we see. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess there's also the possibility of working with other publishers in other countries. So,
Mm.
well, I mean, that's more or less the same thing you were saying. Uh, like Alterna Comics, um,
Yeah,
Peter
yeah,
Smith.
that's a totally different model. I mean, Alterna would be good for, well, getting out a cheaper comic on newsprint, and they would have a much better distribution network. But the unit price would be far lower, so you have to sell a hell of a lot more comics to be able to make the same kind of money. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, mm. What I'm interested in is doing translated versions and trying to sell that in the European market. Um,
Translated versions?
that's Yeah. I'd love to do a French version, Spanish version, um, maybe a Dutch version or a Belgian version. You know, and
Oh,
then see if you give like a license for distribution, because their when Italian would also be another good language, because they've got a very, very strong comic book market. They still sell things on newsstands.
oh,
They
really?
move hundreds of thousands of units of their own comics per month at very reasonable prices. Still, they've got a healthy comic book industry.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, so that's something I'd like. It's kind of insular. It doesn't. A lot of the stuff isn't translated into English. I mean, some of their most like the most popular. I think the most popular Italian title is Dylan Dog, which I think they've only translate. Dark Horse did a translation of some of the stories in a compendium, or a few issues that are put into a compendium. I think probably in 2010 or something like that, quite a few years ago, and it hasn't been back in print. But that's the only time it's ever really been in English,
Huh.
and it's massively popular there. It's like I said, it moves hundreds of thousands per unit per month. It is big, really, really, really big title. So they don't really, I don't think they mind all that much about getting into the English market, because they've got such a good domestic deal going.
Yeah.
Um,
My
yeah,
goodness.
but it would be good. Well, I don't know. That's just something I would like to try. It's something I would like to, because nobody else has given that a chance.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
oh no, I'm just going with a trail of thought, because nobody else seems. I don't know. It's just I don't want to. There's no reason to focus only on the one market. Being the American comic book market with its problems and everything. That's all. People tend to look at the American market and the Japanese market. The Japanese market is obviously also very big, but I think it's also very hard to get into that. Whereas Europe is just on our doorstep.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, cultural differences aren't as big. I mean, you don't have to go, printing your comic to read from right to left. You don't have to. I mean, there's a whole different culture around marketing. I would think too, and I wouldn't know if my sensibilities would translate into the Japanese sort of market either. So it's kind of weird. So it's a logical choice to me to try the European markets first.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, it definitely would make sense to get your product spread as wide as possible worldwide, globally. And but you bring up a good point. It would be one of the challenges can be making sure your message comes across regardless of the language barrier or the translations. And
Yeah.
some jokes or hits might fall on deaf ears because they just don't understand it. Um,
Exactly. Like the loads of tropes that I don't think a lot of American audiences actually get. Which brings me to something else I want to do, which I'll tell you in a bit. But I think there's a lot of stuff that goes under the radar because there are British references specifically, um, and I just think they would really be amplified if you're going for an Asian market, where they wouldn't necessarily have those points of reference for the story to be able to make sense in the same way. Um, what I want to do when I launch this next campaign, I was actually going to I'm putting together a little a booklet called The Merry Boys Companion, which will explain all the references throughout the whole comic, plays on words, occurrences,
oh,
plot
wow.
devices that are specifically British, that wouldn't necessarily be picked up by an American audience, and put
Um,
that all together. Because I was thinking, first I thought there might be one or two or three, but then I looked through it and I was thinking, no, there's actually quite a lot there. There's actually something that's worthwhile putting together. That say if everybody who signs up to the list who've read the first comics will get a digital version of this companion with some artwork and stuff that goes with it.
mm,
Well, that's my day anyway.
that's a great idea. I definitely would be game for that.
Cool,
Um,
cool.
I don't know if you caught it, but I think it was on one of Mandy Summers' streams with the CG Ladies Night, where she
Hmm.
has Charlie's London and I think Piper Fish Giggity, and they did little fun games and stuff. And one of the things they did, it was either on hers or when Charlie's London was hosting. They did a uh, they no, actually I think it was Mandy. So they went to a website that had a list of like 10 or 20 top British terms, and they tried to guess what they meant before they went scroll down to the answer for each one.
Uh-huh, like having a butcher's and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Little
Yeah,
phrases.
Cockney rhyming slang.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So that was fascinating and entertaining. So yeah, anything that helps like shed some light. And in my opinion, that kind of stuff is also falls into the category of like behind the scenes kind of content, which I really dig. I'm really into that kind of stuff, seeing like what goes into uh, a product, a book I like. Um, what kind of thought was put behind it, its creation, and all that good stuff. Yeah, William Crawford Hazel says
Of
world
course.
domination, definitely. I'm also looking at translations for Europe. Yeah, I mean it makes a lot of sense, and call me myopic, but when I think of CG, um, I think of the United States, customer base, the UK base. Um, and then I see to smaller degrees Australia. And but when I watch other people's streams, I know this is a really inaccurate way of viewing what the customer bases are, because I'm not privy to the behind the scenes stuff, but or the stats per se. Um, but every now and then you hear of a backer in like Nigeria or or Cuba or something like that. So I'm not. Um, Part of it may be that those are the biggest markets, UK, US, and Australia, or it might
Yeah.
be that I'm simply looking at a skewed, a
No,
skewed pie
no,
chart.
it's correct. It's about 70% US, about 20% UK in my case, and 10% the rest of the world. Um, I've got some people in Guam, but I think it's because there's a US military base out there, so I still
Oh,
count that as America. And just sporadic backers in Europe, some Switzerland, some German, Finland, one French backer, I think,
ooh, one French.
and so on. But it's not exactly. I mean, out of that huge market. So I'm like, I think the French are very, Franco-centric. They want comics to be in their own language. Same as the British. The British want things to be in English, and the
Right,
Americans too. They just, the French have the same sort of attitude, just in a different language. So if you're going to get them to read your comics necessarily, you have to. It's only going to be the outliers, the ones who are willing to read further out, who will be looking at your stuff at all. You know. So if you want their cash, you have to you meet them more than halfway. I think.
right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like movies, where the difference between watching a movie as it's originally intended in the native language versus watching something that's dubbed or subtitled, because
Mhm.
you'll sometimes miss some of the translation through either of those methods too. Yeah,
That's right. Or if you keep looking at the subtitles and yeah, the dubs, it won't be the same. But what I'm actually the first thing I want to do is my wife is Polish. I don't know if you know, but she's going to be translating it into Polish, and we're
oh
going to see
neat.
if we can't. There's one Polish publisher that specializes in translations from the West.
Oh wow.
So we're going to see if we get them a license and maybe get into the distribution chain. I'm just reading up on stuff like that, just trying to see where we can find a foothold, um, and just see what's the next step. I just because crowdfunding is great. I don't want to limit myself to that. I like that to be like the first step and a continuing step to like an ongoing thing, to get the book out there.
Hmm.
That's all. Because what I'm after at the end of the day is a lot of readers. I mean, you make your money out of crowdfunding, but you still don't have a huge readership. It'll certainly be like in my case, I think I've got about 470 backers now. For crowdfunding, that's great. That's like it's a nice big, it's a solid number of people who've backed the project. But if I was publishing an indie comic just through traditional means, it will only really start doing well if you've sold about 4 or 5 thousand copies. So to me it feels like, okay, I've got the support. People who have supported this project are obviously very excited about it, but I don't have the readership yet. I haven't planted the seed, for it to be a bigger sort of thing. That's all. So I want to extend that reach any which way I can, to get just to reach more people.
Yeah, that is a good idea. You don't want to limit yourself if you can help it.
Yeah.
Were you kind of shocked that it got up to 15,962 so far, or was that
Yeah.
where you expected it to be by now?
I had no expectations. I just wanted to hit the minimum, really, to because I basically just I picked a number out of the air, figured out how much it would cost me to to print and ship that, and I set an arbitrary sum at I think it was 2,500. And if I hit 2,500, I would have been more than happy. At least it wouldn't have cost me anything. Because my experiences with indie publishing up to that point was literally you're lucky if you break even, sort of thing, making money wasn't something that happened typically at all. In very few cases, in most indie publishing companies, you've got the big names that will make some money out of it, and then you'll have a whole slew of creators that just don't, they don't get anywhere. Image is a good example of that. They've got their handful of creators that make a bomb, and then a lot of other, like UK professionals that I've noted that work for big titles like 2000 AD. They've tried their hand at image books. If they sell less than 6,000 copies, they just don't make any money at all on it. It's just a complete waste of effort.
Hmm.
So so making money out of an indie project is quite novel. So I would have been more than happy just to make the 2.5. So I just kept going and going and going after that, and I've been very lucky, very happy with it.
And prior to launching, it sounded like you took note that uh, people in crowdfunding built up an audience first. What kind of audience did you have by the time you launched?
I didn't have an audience at all.
Okay.
I tried getting a YouTube channel going. I'm just not very. I don't want to say I'm not good at YouTube, because that's just a defeatist sort of attitude. If you're not good, you get good. But yeah, it didn't look like it was picking up. I got the quick Twitter account going, but still that was very slow. It wasn't anything significant. It was starting from zero, literally starting from zero. Ideally, you wouldn't start from zero. You would have say 2,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel. You would have an equal number on your Twitter, and you will build up rapport, get people interested in the project beforehand, before you hit the button.
Mhm.
And I disregarded that. Well, I just thought to myself, it's just never going to happen. I just didn't have the tools. I still don't have the tools to do it. I mean, I've got the network going now. We've got CG UK, which is great, because we're building a buzz around all of our projects in the process.
Mhm.
You know, um,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of interest around Charlie's London's project right now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Charlie Chaplin book. That is, I predict that is going to be massive. That's going to be a big breakout project for us. And that success will be our success in a
Yep.
sense. Because
Yeah.
everybody's taken interest. Her mailing list is approaching 500. It's probably surpassed 500 people already.
Nice.
I'm not saying everybody will back on the mailing list, but that's a very, very, very good start. And she's still got quite. I think she's launching in October, as far as I know. So by then, she might. It's going to be big. It would have. She's doing it the right way. She would have gained quite a lot of momentum by then. I think she's going to get a lot of backing. She's gonna smash it with it.
Yeah. She's very popular in CG. Period. And
Yeah, and she's got a chat. She's got a YouTube channel going. She's very likable.
yeah.
Which goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
No drama, very likable, willing formula as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah, for sure. She's always a hit in people's streams and everything, and she always interacts. Uh, she's very cool. I like her a lot. Um, yeah, so congrats on 15,962 at 471 backers. Let's keep getting this up there, everyone. Keep backing it. And if you have already backed it, back it again.
Some people, I didn't know there was a thing, but I have had a few people who have backed it several times, and we just started posting things out by tier. So we didn't consolidate the packages, so we sent them out. Or what we should have been doing is offering a tier where you can buy 4 copies if you want, or 3 or 2 copies if you want. We put it together, and you'll save on postage, and it'll be less of a ball ache to package and post. that's like one of those things that you only really realize after you've already run a campaign. There's a culture of doing that. So for next time, we'll be a bit more savvy.
Um,
And
it, yeah. Speaking of which, I mean that's all right. So we were discussing shipping costs, and what I've seen from campaigns that I back is, um, shipping costs, overseas tends to be a concern for a lot of people. So some people use as their solution offering digital books, PDFs. I mean, I'm personally not a fan, but I'm not going to harp on anyone for preferring PDF because you don't have to deal with shipping. It's all done electronically.
Yeah.
Then another workaround to counter the shipping costs is by doing, multiple books at a time in a tier. Say you want, even if you want a small amount, like 2 books. So you can go in on it with a friend. Say you're both interested in the book. You each want a copy. So you effectively split the shipping costs in two, because you'll easily be able to fit 2 books in say a Gemini mailer as an example. So that's definitely a possibility, and I've seen a lot of campaigns as of late also do like a retailer's uh, pack where
Oh,
you
right. Yeah,
five,
yeah, yeah. I've heard of that. So we five or more books. Is that right?
yeah, 5 or more at a time. Some of them do like 10 books at once. Some of them do 5. Um, and you're basically getting a batch number. Some people, there are going to be some backers out there. I don't know how many, but there are going to be some who are into those larger quantities, or maybe you'll come across a comic book shop owner or two who will want to start carrying CG types of books in their store for people to try out. And, they'll save further on shipping costs that way too. Um, so that's another way people are getting around it. I'm hoping that other solutions present themselves as well, because it's kind of crazy sometimes to want to back a book, but then realize that the shipping costs more than the book itself that you're buying.
It's happened to me several times, unfortunately. Yeah, it can be. It just can be a bit demoralizing when you get all the way through the transaction and you think, okay, I can afford this, and then bang, oh, oh dear, it's just not going to work, is it? That's the problem. Yeah, but on distribution, I recently I took a whole batch of Mary Boys comics to my local comic book shop, and they're happy to carry it.
Oh,
So it's at least in one comic book shop, which I see as some sort of triumph. Yeah,
nice. Oh, congrats.
yeah. So
That's cool.
it is a nice feeling. I mean, just seeing it there. And I think, and when I sent out the tweet, I got so many likes on it. I got like 173 likes or something on that tweet. It shows that the importance of comic book shops hasn't diminished in people's minds. Even though everybody's in Comicsgate are buying things online, having something on the shelf in a comic shop still has a lot of significance for people. It has a value. It has something. What I would like to do is, I don't know if I'm going to have time or whatever, but just I was thinking to myself, well, I mean, getting something through Diamond is impossible, not on this level, because you need a minimum order number, and you'll need much bigger numbers in general just to get that machine going for Diamond. So I was thinking to myself, well, if I just had a list of comic book shops in the UK, a bit of legwork could get the book into those shops without too much hassle. Because domestic postage isn't that expensive in the UK. It's only going to be a couple of pounds. So anyway, it's just food for thought. Some other way of actually getting it, because at the end of the day, what's important to me is getting people to see it. Because I'm confident if people see this comic book and they read it and they go, this is actually, it hooks people in. People tend to, when after they've read it, they're like, yeah, you know what, I actually like this. I will keep going with it. It's not just a shot in the dark. Then I hope that they will want to seek it out, for upcoming projects. So it won't just be a revenue stream; it'll also be a way of getting people interested in future crowdfunding projects. That's how I see it.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. How did you decide? When you made it available to sell in comic books, how did you decide? What to price it as, or did you just go with whatever you're charging on the Indiegogo campaign?
Same as the Indiegogo campaign. If I went cheaper, I feel that I would be cheating my backers in a way.
Yeah.
And if I went more expensive, I'd price myself out. Although when I was checking out the other independent, because they carried a few independent titles, the independent titles tended to be more expensive than my comics
Really?
by a couple of pounds.
Oh wow.
But I don't. But the thing is, now I could have raised it to that, but would anybody buy it at that level? How long have those copies been languishing on the shelf at that price? That's the question. So you have to be competitive. So I just put it at the same price, and see. At least one thing I'm confident of is that I'm not. My comics are a bit more expensive than big two comics, but not that much more. I mean, what do you pay? It's $5 or something for a 24-page floppy. So it's not a far cry from what they're charging. And on the campaign, when you buy my two comic books, you also get the digital versions of those comic books, which the big two would charge you extra for. Plus, you get the digital version of the Sparko graphic novel. So you get far more for your money backing my campaign than you would buying two comic books from DC or Marvel. And I guess that's the selling point. One selling point.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I have to agree with you there. You don't want to tick off the the backers who supported your campaign in the beginning. That's
Yeah.
one of the challenges that they're dealing with at the Allegiant Arts, I think.
Yeah, the whole Walmart. Yeah, that. I can understand why people got annoyed with that, especially with the Red Rooster thing. Making well, it wasn't the whole. Okay, arguably, it's not the whole Red Rooster that's being made available. It was only the first part, and I think the idea was that they would be fulfilling to the Indiegogo backers before they would be releasing the whole of the Red Rooster story via Walmart. And I think the quality was different too, different quality paper. I hope there's a difference in the edition. So at least somebody, because I mean, I backed the Allegiance Arts package. So at least, if I had to hold it up and say, look, I backed this, then at least it would carry more value than something somebody just bought off the shelf at Walmart. It would be slightly different. It would say Indiegogo version. I don't know if there are any distinctions or not, but I hope there are.
Yeah, for sure. What the? Oops. Sorry, I'm just. What the? I'm trying to. Throughout my streams, I try to do additional promotion so that people know we're live in case they didn't catch the other message.
Yeah. I do that too. I checked it on Twitter just before we went live. Let me see if I can do some retweeting on that as well. Yeah, okay, I've already done that one. But yeah, it's a weird thing, and it's also because crowdfunding comic books is relatively new. You don't know how you're supposed to. Because I mean, the whole idea about crowdfunding, like initially, was the whole point of it was to get money so that you could pay for something as seed capital. It's a seed capital exercise. You get your money together with which you can build your better mousetrap. You can get your print run going. You can do XYZ, and with that, you can get the project out to people. But the way we do it at Comicsgate, it seems to be it's stepping into the shoes of the retailer itself. So if you do move from the crowdfunding model to retail, then you don't want you don't want there to be a blur. You should be offering your crowdfunding back as something different, something more, some advantage that you wouldn't have gotten, to somebody else who didn't take any chance. Because I mean, crowdfunding, like I said before, crowdfunding backers are a special sort of breed. They're very different to the types who just walk into the shop and buy and pick up a copy. They're putting their money. Often they're overpaying for something, which they may or may not get. Somebody might, yeah, and if they get it, they will have to wait a lot longer than it would take for somebody just ordering something off Amazon. So you're asking a lot more of your backers than you would of your retail customers. So they are different, and they should be getting something extra at the end of the day. That's
I
what I
totally
think.
agree. It's no one welcome. Issue 2 of Red Rooster hit Walmart last week. Issue
Alrighty.
2 already?
Well, how many issues? How many pay? Was it? It was more. It was a long graphic novel though. It would have been about how many issues? I wonder. I didn't back. I didn't back Red Rooster back. It was before I really got into the circuit.
Yeah, I think I missed out on that campaign too. I kind of wanted to, but in retrospect, I don't know how I feel at this point.
It looks great. It
Yeah.
looks amazing. I love that it's got that fast illustration style to it, but the cinematography is amazing. Very solid project.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool, and I love Kelsey Shannon's stuff. He does some good stuff.
Kelsey is a major talent. I'd say he's my definitely top tier Comicsgate artist.
Oh yeah.
Let me see. I was Luke. Yeah, he says I back Red Rooster and still haven't got anything. Nor does my Walmart carry any of the books. That's it. I mean, I hope it works. It works out. I mean, I like the Bright Wyzers, and I want to see them succeed in everything. But hopefully, this will get ironed out. I'm sure it will.
For sure.
I was chatting to Luke quite long last night. We had a nice long chinwag. It was quite cool guy. Yeah, just chatting to everybody still.
Oh yeah.
It's nice. It's nice having something during the day though, because it always gets into the early hours, and then I'm like, half asleep the next day.
Yeah.
I was up until late last night.
Oh yeah, for sure. I believe Mitch and Company will fulfill its promise. Yeah.
I think so. I think so too. I think these are hiccups because on the one hand, yeah, okay, it is late. On the other hand, they did launch an independent publishing company with a major distribution network in the meantime. So if you take that into account, they've had a lot on their plate.
Yeah. I have to agree. I mean, a part of me is ticked off that the backers didn't get everything first, but at the same time, if you're trying to juggle these other opportunities and you have the chance to work with someone as huge as Walmart, I mean, I can't really fault you for pursuing that avenue.
I don't think it's a lost cause yet. I mean, we don't know what the backers are getting. I mean, if they're getting something that's different to what you'll get in Walmart, and obviously there's collectability there, it'll be a different product, and they'll be getting it first too.
Yeah.
So I don't know enough about it, to really express an opinion on it. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. I back Red Rooster. I'm a very patient guy. I'm sure it'll be worth the wait. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like the Indiegogo campaign backers will be getting a higher quality product. from what it sounds like. Um, and with regards to availability, I've been to two local WalMarts and I've yet to find the display. For some reason, I guess they are only carrying it in certain locations. And I think if you go to walmart.com, you're supposed to be able to order the comic books that way. Or
Uh-huh.
alternatively, there's supposed to be a list online that shows you what locations do carry it.
I've seen the list. I think Allegiance Arts tweeted it out a while back. There's definitely a list going around.
Yeah, yeah. So not. I don't know if Walmart is just being cautious and doing releasing it to a test group of stores as opposed to going widespread globally or what. But yeah, it's not going to be at all locations. Uh,
Hmm.
I fear, based on Mitch's time management issues, that it'll get Walmart's issue number 3 done just under the September deadline, and then have to send complete Indiegogo books out to print. Yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to handle that, but I hope you backers get it as soon as possible for sure. I mean,
I just wish.
yeah,
Sorry.
go
I
ahead.
think there's a
Yeah, yeah,
bit of
yeah.
lag. I was just going to say we've got we don't have Walmart here, but we've got ASDA, which is a subsidiary. It's kind of Walmart for the UK, and I wish we could get Allegiance Arts comics here. That would be great. So I'm hoping it works, so that we can have those comics here because I enjoyed the pack. I definitely did. So, you know, here's hoping.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. If they manage to reinvigorate the comics market in the mainstream, we should all be behind them. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the thing. That's why kids aren't reading comics anymore because they don't see comic books anymore. They don't see comic books anymore because they're not in plain view in the places where their parents shop. They
Oh,
can't go, "Mommy, mommy, mommy, buy me that. Buy me this, whatever." They have to go into these specialist shops full of sad middle-aged men to go and find their comic books. They're not going to do that. It's not
yeah.
going to work. And also, the pricing is the other thing. Spending that much money on comics. I mean, even if you had to take inflation into account, comics books have become massively expensive in
Yeah.
comparison to what they in the
I mean,
80s and 90s. They have It's not for kids anymore. In that sense of the word, it's not for kids anymore because kids would get a lot more entertainment for their money in other media. You know,
right
they
now
just
it's
would.
mostly video games and movies and TV or electronics actually. Um, I
Yeah.
I think there's still a way to well, I think there's still a way to grab the kids as an audience, but you do have stiff competition with gaming and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and back when I stopped collecting comics was like I guess early '80s or maybe mid '80s when the prices per book or what some people refer to as floppy is I was really big into collecting them when they were around 75 cents each, and then they jacked up to $1.25, $1.50, and that kind of priced me out of the market. And I was spending like $40 a week on numerous books, and I guess that was pretty high for the time too. At least for me.
Luke likes my comments about special shops with sad middle-aged men quite a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah. uh,
It's fine. I count myself amongst in those ranks. I don't have a problem with that.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, um, I don't know where it is out in the UK. I guess most people in the States typically go to play the big box stores like Walmart and Target um, and then the warehouse stores like Costco and Sam's Club. I wonder if other places like those might be uh, a possible market for comic books one day. Um, oh, that would be weird. Going to a warehouse shop and buying bulk comic books. Yeah, like
Buying a whole stack of comics at discount rates.
Yeah, exactly. Get a whole pack of 20 books of the same thing. Oh man.
Yeah, Lucas saying it's because I knew this from my chat from last night, but he's saying it's because he works in a comic book shop on Saturdays.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
Everybody's dream, though. You get to be around all the cool stuff.
yeah. I mean, people who go to comic book shops nowadays are probably those who grew up going to comic book shops, and are still familiar with the experience of going to a comic book shop. I mean, that's part of the joy of going, not always to pick up a new book or two, but just to be there to sift through the long boxes, try and find issues that you're missing in your collection,
Yeah.
and then check out the new talent and interact with people. That's part of the fun of it. It was like a hangout place, kind of like a pub.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's what it was like when I was a kid. And you'd see all you'd see all these really exotic sort of European titles on the wall. And it would just expand your mind. You would go in there and everything looked so incredibly cool. You'd walk out of there with a bit of a buzz, like going, "Wow!"
Yeah.
You couldn't afford to buy everything that you wanted, obviously, but
Uh-huh.
you would chew on that.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
that was something. That was something in itself. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's how I got interested in graphic novels, because they started carrying graphic novels based on my favorite characters from the comics. And then it also led to my interest in like the magazine style covers. Excuse me. So and those fancy statue figurine things and busts.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the whole thing. What is Comic Mark saying? WyzGyz is Brenda Phrases.
Brenda Fraser's.
Brendan Phrases. Did he just gender swap you by accident?
Oh, you know what? Maybe. Oh my gosh. Oh wow.
He did a show not too long ago where he did it was Russian Troll Factory, I think, where they did gender swap for all the for a lot of people in CG, and people had to guess who they were and rate them, from hot to not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Smash
okay,
them.
he did would smash,
Smash.
would not smash.
Yeah, I actually caught that on the replay and watched the entire thing. That was pretty funny.
It was good. It was I really enjoyed that.
Except for the
It
fact
was a good
that everyone rated me so low, but then at the same time, I kind of rated myself real low. So
I don't want a bunch of men. I'm glad I wasn't on there because I don't want a bunch of men to want to smash me, even in female form.
well, that would be like your clone, That would be
like your sister. So,
yeah.
different
Well,
dose.
oh geez. Yeah. The visual. Great show, guys. I gotta go, but I'll catch up later.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming. Appreciate you.
Wally's had enough. He's had enough of this. He's
that's what it really means. Man, you can be honest with us. You can be frank. You can be upfront. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the comic book experience was fun, and actually, it still is to this day. I mean, whenever I actually can find one, I'll stop in, and it's just nice going back and seeing what's in there nowadays. Although, the stuff that Marvel and DC puts out these days is like more predominantly garbage, which is sad. I just don't like.
I haven't looked in such a long time.
I just don't like the direction
looked.
they're going.
Blissfully unaware. The only time I really find out what's going on is when people make fun of Snowflake and Safe Space and stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw this.
To do,
Oh my gosh! Good luck. Don't cramp up.
You're doing a 5K run? Okay. Is the bottle store that far away from your house, Wally? I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh man, can you imagine, like, in front of a race, they have, say, a pickup truck with a small counter, some bar stools, and some fresh beer on tap. And if you can catch up to the truck, and then you can hop on the back of the truck and have a have a beer. Oh my gosh, that would be a crazy
bit of motivation. Yeah. Like a lead.
Exactly.
Or you can have somebody chasing you. We can have somebody chasing you. In fact, there's like a zombie themed run that me and a mate of mine are going to do in October.
Oh, really?
Where you run through. You run it at night, obviously, and there's like these narrow sort of strips where you can't really diverge. And he says that what they did a few years back is they would have these people dressed as zombies, and they would come out of the thick, and they would chase you. And there was this guy with this chainsaw, with obviously I hope the chain removed. They would chase runners coming through. So if you get your mind into it, it can be a lot of fun.
Oh my!
And probably motivate you to run a bit faster. But yeah, that would be. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to work in COVID. If things are going to be up and going in that time, but it's a cool theme.
Well, what you do is you have people coming out of the woodwork from the shadows, and they won't be wearing masks, and they'll be coughing and sneezing on you.
Oh yeah, there we go.
They chase you. Yeah. It sounds a little bit like Halloween Horror Nights. They have dudes with chainsaws that don't have chains on them chase after park goers. Yeah, it does sound like that kind of thing.
Well, they do it just almost like a candid camera sort of situation where you didn't know there was a guy with a chainsaw. He just jumps out. But you guys carry guns, though. It can go horribly wrong.
They probably make sure people know beforehand that firearms are not allowed. So they avoid lawsuits. I've never participated in one of those, but that would be interesting.
It's all in good fun.
Yeah, for sure. I might have asked you this before, but how long did it take for you to put together Merry Boys? I mean, did you have the whole thing already fully made before you launched your campaign?
I did. I'll show you what I had. Basically, I had the covers, I had the pinups, and I had the first 7 pages of interior artwork. Then from September to May, that's the time it took me to draw the rest. But what I had was I had the whole comic book in thumbnails, like this. This is the Bible, the Merry Boys Bible. You recognize the last page over there. Microphone. But you'll see that's just let the camera focus. That is the last page over there, that side. So I actually physically drew everything out in half size with all the dialogue and everything else.
Oh, wow.
So that there wouldn't be any guesswork. Here's a good example. I'm trying to find the page that you... Yeah, okay, here's the... Let me try and find the page that... Because you bought a page with me, didn't you? So let me share.
Yeah, Death Metal Hero. Ha ha ha, yes we do. So they don't allow the guns theme park, Universal Studios. Yeah, Universal Studios is really being serious competition for Disney. Death Metal Hero says that Bible is awesome.
Okay, if you look at if you recognize, if you've read Merry Boys already, you can see that it isn't that much different to the actual comic. You know, it's got the same. It's just thumbnails, like much rougher sketches of the final versions that went on into the actual book. So it's all there.
Did you?
The whole thing.
Oh, all the original art was done in traditional format, right? All physical.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So you had your thumbnails, your Mary Boy's Bible to work off of, and then you just laid it out according to your Bible, and then did all the work off of that.
Yeah, basically, because I mean, to me, storytelling is incredibly important. To making sure that you get all the, that you guide the reader through the story properly. You know that it reads smoothly and easily. That is extremely important. I'm quite a stickler for that. So I would finish that guide, that Bible, then I would leave it, and then I would read it again and get somebody else to read it. Make sure that everything just ticks along, all the pacing is correct, and it keeps people's interest at the right moments, and it's never unclear as to what is actually happening. And then after that, I would blow it up. I would do final pencils and ink it. Yeah, the inking took a long time because it's all ink wash. Ink wash just takes it just takes longer because you need to get all those tones correct. So you have to work with multiple layers of ink, and it's actually a really hard way of doing everything.
Oh,
So I was thinking maybe for the next one, I'll mix it up. I might do one story in traditional line work, and maybe use tones for it, just to do something different and do some cut and paste things to give it like some of a punk look. I was really hoping, I really wanted to do at least one story that's going to be in color, but it's painted. You know, not just cell colored, digitally colored, but actually fully painted. Not a terribly long story because it's obviously a massive project just to paint something out like that,
what kind
and
of
just do
painting,
the rest of the wash. Sorry.
what kind of painting did you have in mind? Watercolor,
Just
acrylic.
watercolor. Yeah. Well, watercolor. Or yeah, watercolor for the interiors. It doesn't take as long as full on acrylic rendering. Uh, but for the pinups, I want to do one that's going to be full on acrylic rendering, like the No Chavs pinup. That's full on acrylic, so I want to do at least another one of those.
Nice. So
Just
when
to
you're
keep.
talking about different shades of ink wash, is it basically like using one of those painter's easels where you have uh, a certain a few blobs of ink in each of the dishes, and then you add varying degrees of water to
Yeah,
dilute?
yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it. It's quite it's not even as exact as that. You just eyeball it until you determine it to be dark enough, and you just yeah. I don't really have a system like that. That's probably a good way of doing it, but I'll just eyeball it until I think it's. What I tend to do is I tend to do all the things that are definitely going to be black, like their boots are all black, obviously with the shine. So there's it's a hard surface sort of rendering. And the line work around, that's all going to be black. So I tend to do all that first, and then after I've done that, I will decide, okay, where should all the shading go? Where should the values be? What can I leave white? What should be grayed out? And it's quite flexible in that sense. It's just a bit more. It takes quite a bit more elbow grease to get it over the line. But the end result, I think, is it looks pretty good. I think. Um,
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
And I guess with watercolor, It's basically the same thing. It's just because you're still going to be playing with values, but you're going to have to take decisions regarding hue as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be a new experience. I've done obviously I've done a lot of just plain watercolor drawing, so it'll just be applying that in a comic book, which I've never tried before. So we see how it works out. I really like Black Sad. Have you read Black Sad before?
No, I haven't. Black Sad, SAD?
Yeah, yeah. It's a Spanish comic that Dark Horse translated into English, and it's almost like The Spirit, but it's with anthropomorphic animals. Like so, the detective is a cat, and the villains and the other characters will be different animals.
Mm.
But is the illustrations are incredible. The stories are good. The illustration work is amazing. It's an ex Disney animator.
Was that right?
Who did, yeah, it's amazingly good. The first volume, especially, is very very good. If you're looking to read something new, um,
Do you say it's called Black Sad?
yeah, one word, Black Sad. Let me
And it was released by Dark Horse Comics?
in English. Originally, it was in Spanish. I think it was Spanish. Yeah. If you Google that, uh, let me see. Should I just share my screen? Yeah, I think if you.
That'll work.
So if let me just share quickly. Give me a sec. Share screen. Then it's going to ask me if I want to share a tab. Application window. Chrome tab. There we go. Okay, I think you need to just click on the Chrome tab. At least the share screen thingy at the bottom. There we go. So
Whoa.
scrolling down, this is just amazing work, and this is all watercolor stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Very very high level.
Oh, so yeah, anthropomorphic animals interacting with humans as well?
No humans, no.
Oh, okay. I thought there was a gal in a white dress there.
Let's see. I think she's a cat. Yeah, she's
Oh, really?
some sort of. There we go.
Oh, I didn't catch the ears. Oh my god.
Oh, here we go.
Dang, that's
I was
cool.
looking for a page. There we go. There's there's a page.
Is
But
that
there
an
was another
owl?
page. Wait, give me a sec. Yeah, I haven't read that particular story. Wait, let me just find that. But it's all very consistently well rendered throughout the whole thing.
Wow.
Which I really appreciate.
That must have taken a lot of work too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you
Whoa.
can see the Disney influences. You can see these are Disney-esque sort of characters, but it's quite dark. The subject matter tends to be quite dark and hard-boiled. But I've liked this for a while, so
So it's like a detective story?
yeah.
Cool. I'll have to look into that one. Death Metal Hero says, I have a print on my studio wall that I got at SDCC in 2013.
Yep, he was on the ball a lot earlier than I was. I only found out about it, I think a couple of years ago. But it's been going for quite a while. I think it's at least a decade old now.
So they even made busts of these characters?
Yeah, and I believe there's a game that was released quite recently too.
A game too. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Huh. That definitely looks like a read. All right.
That's what I mean. It's like there's stuff like that in the European market. A lot of the stuff just hasn't been translated at all. You know, it's very rich in good content. Which might be bad for Mary Boys. So we'll see. I'd like to get it under, just to see how it gets received.
Yeah.
Take it from there.
Just enjoying your artwork.
It all looks old to me now. You know, I just want to do old. I just want to do new stuff. And every time I look at it now, it's like, yeah, okay, you know, want to move on, do something else.
Next project. Next.
That's how it should be. Yes.
In the States, there's always a big thing about the cops and them going to donut shops. Is that a popular thing in the UK as well, or is it
Not really? No, it's actually something that I borrowed. It's an Americanism that I took on board.
Gotcha.
There isn't really. I think there is the stereotype, but is a stereotype that was adopted from the US. And I think the reason the US cops they're known to eat donuts is because of their patrolling hours.
Yeah.
That time of the night, I believe that's the only thing you can really get at that time of the night.
Yeah, I mean,
so
it's either donuts and coffee or White Castle, or in some cases McDonald's. So any way you look at it, you're looking at major junk food of one form or another.
Yeah. Here you can't get anything late at night or early in the morning, rather.
Oh, really?
You'd think you could. Yeah, in London it's hard. You couldn't get a pizza at 1:00 in the morning.
Oh man, that's heresy.
If you're real. Yeah, well, there you go. So I don't know what the cops do. I guess they pack lunches or something. I've got no idea.
I guess so. Probably saves them a lot of money though if they pack lunches. Prince. I still love this picture here. The kids in the boot.
Cool. No, I'm glad. Now a lot of people have said they enjoyed that. So I'm thinking for the next campaign I should just do another set of prints.
Yeah.
I was wondering what to do with that. Because I like some just having freestanding art. Just do another pack, I guess.
All bent out of shape. Oh man. So,
did you get your original page? I didn't follow the tracking thingy, but did you receive your original Mary Boys page?
Yeah, so I got
you did.
Wrong window. All right, so let's see here. Boom, 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 boom. All right. So I wanted to show you. I got some stuff. Oh, I'm pretty certain I got this from you. This isn't what you were asking about, but.
Oh yeah. I just checked in it. It's a print that I just thought I'd include it as an extra.
I was going. I don't remember this as part of one of the tiers. Is it like a play on Addams Family?
It's from EC Comics. I'm a big fan of the old Vault of Horror and Tales from the Crypt and the Haunt of Fear, and those are the hosts of the Vault of Horror. So that's the Vault Keeper and Drusilla, and they're lording over the grave of the Comics Code Authority. That they killed them, so it's a kind of like a turnaround. Like a revenge story. It's hinting at a revenge on the Comics Code.
Right. Because I was looking at, I guess that's Thing, or character-like Thing.
Oh yeah, it's just a disembodied hand. Like a lot of tropes came out of. I mean, okay, I can't remember if the Adams. I'm a fan of Charles Adams too, like the early New Yorker cartoons. And I can't remember if the hand was a character then or not. I don't know if that's something that was introduced later, but I do definitely remember seeing a disembodied hand in the old EC horror comics. Just general stuff, because they would have a lot of this psychedelic gore going on. You know, they were quite creepy. You know, I don't know if you're into those old comic books.
um, some of them, yeah. I haven't actually had a whole lot of exposure to the older ones. I used to go to flea markets and stuff though,
Mhm.
where I'd try and score a deal and buy several long boxes worth of comics for real cheap. But
All right. Okay.
the comics that I usually got from those were old Doctor Strange, Conan the Barbarian, um,
Okay.
movie
Savage Sword of Conan.
Universal monster characters like Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dracula, the Mummy, the Wolfman. Those kinds of comics are the ones I usually ended up getting. Because like, if I was interested in comics, I would I wouldn't spend a whole lot of time looking at all the contents of the box. I would just try and get a good deal and then buy the entire box and then look at it later.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
that's yeah. Well, hey, John Frogo's in. That's cool.
oh, welcome. Hey there. Welcome, Frago. Uh, yeah. All right. So, what do you imagine Commie Mark smells like?
uh
I guess
I
that's
don't know.
a
Just like
question
a
that
little,
a lot of people have
just like yeah, I'm sure. It probably smells like weed. I don't know. Liberation. Uh,
asked. That's
People's struggle. Um, I have no idea. I've got no idea. If we ever hold a CG UK con in this neck of the woods, then I shall take a sample of Commie Mark and I shall mail it out to you. Like a
yeah.
scratch and sniff postcard of Commie Mark. Yeah.
Ye-
Olfactory experience Mark.
That's a good idea. You can even do like maybe an Indiegogo, and that'll be one of your tiers. Wow.
It could be like a perfume. It can be
Hmm.
like a yeah, toilette Commie Mark.
Oh
Commie Mark
yeah,
has
that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Wow. Excuse me. Another cool thing I got. Original page from the book.
is a good choice, that one. A lot of character. It's always a challenge to draw a lot of talking heads sort of pages. You know, when it's predominantly talking, so you got to get creative with what you show, little actions in the background. You know, showing a bit more scene here and there. So yeah, I was quite proud of that one.
When you mapped out your oh, hold on. Hey, statistical zero. Thanks for popping
Hey,
in.
Stat.
Yeah, I've been seeing
He's
you
the
all over the
mainstay.
place, Pat. You're doing great.
Yeah, he's a mainstay. He's practically part of the furniture at CG UK.
Yeah, he's like all
Fun to
over the
remember.
place now. That is awesome. And then last but not least, I mean, obviously I got all your books and everything. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
In peace. Let's see. I'm always mixing my left and my right. This is a commission piece he did for me. Man, I just love the ink job and the ink washes. They're so cool.
I enjoyed doing that one because normally it's just one character, but this time I thought, well, it's going to be the last character sketch I'm doing for this campaign. So I just thought, yeah, cool. Let's just do all four and get creative with how it, and how it's, because it's more I find more interesting. I don't know about you, like from the consumer's point of view, but well, from okay, as a consumer for me too. But I like art that tells a bit of a story, even if it's only a single panel. There's a bit of editorial going on there. It's alluding to something. It's telling you something. It isn't just a character posing with its stuff. You know what I mean? It's always nicer to build a scene that has some sort of message behind it.
I
That's
agree.
what I enjoy.
I agree. I'm really into that kind of stuff too. I mean, that's why when I was pondering what on earth to ask for, one of the first things that came to mind was a group shot of the Avengers from the first Avengers movie, where it was like
Uh-huh.
an epic moment where you saw all these different characters with different backstories come together as one team. And then the other one was also an Avengers reference, but during after the Battle of New York, Iron Man nearly dies, uh, and he makes this offhanded remark about wanting to try out shawarma, or is it shawarma, or is that the name of the restaurant? Oh well, anyway, uh, so there's like an end credit scene with the Avengers just hanging out in a, a shawarma place.
Yes. See, I didn't get it because I never watched the Avengers movie. I'm
You
probably
haven't
gonna get
seen
shot
it
for
since
that.
I mentioned it. What?
No,
You haven't
I
seen
haven't. I think it came out in 2012, didn't it? Yeah, I haven't. I've blocked out mentally. I've blocked out Marvel movies and things for such a long time. I did watch Deadpool though, and I enjoyed that. But other than that,
Deadpool?
not really. Since 2012, I haven't really bothered.
You,
Because I just don't know what I'm going to get. That's all.
you mean you didn't feel inspired to buy every single Marvel movie out there when I mentioned it?
I've actually got a shelf full of, well, a couple of shelves full of comic book movies because I've
Oh,
just been picking them up from the but just from the cash converters. If I see them, I just get them. I haven't watched a fraction of them yet though, so
so what are some
it's
what are some
weird.
what are some of the titles you have?
X-Men, X-Men 1.2, X-Men 2. Iron Man. That is very good. I really enjoyed that. The first Daredevil. I got the first three Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, the
Nice.
Spider-Man that came out in 2012,
All right.
both Hulk movies.
Okay.
I just loads of them. I've got I think all the new Batman movies. I've got all the Tim Burton Batman movies. Just loads. I've got Green Lantern, which I've got absolutely no intention of watching because apparently it's very bad, and I just don't want to waste my time watching it. Uh, so
So,
yeah,
are you thinking long term that since Green Lantern is despised worldwide, that enough people will trash their copies that your copy will become worth a lot of money down the road?
I think I bought it for something like 50p. So I thought maybe one day I'll be in the mood for watching it somehow, and I just haven't. No, just I've
Uh,
been too busy. I just time is just I just don't have any time left. I think at this point, when I buy comic books and I buy movies and things, it's basically like a retirement entertainment plan because that's probably when I'm going to be able to start watching everything again.
uh,
I've
let's
just
see.
been too damn busy with promoting this, trying to get on board with the next project. It's just taken off. It's gotten a massive life of its own. What is? Oh, let's see. What did I say? Got my
CGK
CGK
thanks
seems to have
for
adopted me.
adopting me.
Yeah, you
Welcome,
definitely have.
Nicodemus X. Got my copies of Mirror Boys yesterday. They arrived safe and look good.
Oh, good. I'm always happy to hear that. I'm always afraid of USPS, destroying comic books.
Well,
Uh,
usually I'm used to FedEx and UPS trashing my stuff. Like I once ordered.
really, I thought those were more reliable. Okay, if they're not, then sure, I won't bother with them.
Well, I once ordered. Our family ordered a custom built PC from a friend within the same state. Like I was in Northern California, the friend was in Southern California, and it arrived trashed internally, and
Ah,
broken pieces. The video card came out of the slot. All kinds of sad stuff. Memory stick came out, and
jeez.
I recently shipped stuff via USPS. I usually don't have issues with USPS, uh,
All right.
but for some reason, I don't know if it's this whole COVID thing, but uh, both packages I was sending from Ohio to California, they were delayed by about 1 to 1.5 weeks, and the first of the
Hmm.
packages had a busted corner edge. But fortunately, it didn't look like anything actually fell out of it, so that was good. The other package,
Mine is massive delay. I mean, yeah, because my fulfillment date it was to be in May, so I was ready to fulfill in May, and then I thought to myself, okay, well, it's the height of the COVID scare now, so I knew there was going to be delays, but I thought to myself, well, I did say I didn't want to wait a month, and then the pandemic never ends, and then I never fulfill. So I thought to myself, well, it's going to be in circulation for longer. I might as well just start posting them out and seeing what happens. So I took a bit of a gamble on it, and there are still people receiving their packages that were posted out on the 20th of May. Which is
oh,
which is yeah, so they've been around the world a few times. I'm sure they've seen all sorts of parts of America. They've been all over the place. I'm sure.
yeah,
But people are getting them, and they're not. I think out of 400 odd packages went out. I think about five have had damage, and I've replaced those. But it
no,
hasn't been astronomical, luckily.
oh, good, good.
Yeah.
Do you know approximately how many are still floating out there, still waiting to be delivered?
No idea. I just from talking to people, like Luke was telling me that yeah, he received his I think about a week ago, and that was also posted on the 20th of May, and that would have been because it was the patch tier that went out. I don't know. I'm just assuming they must be starting to arrive now. I've replaced a few. I've replaced two so far of people who still haven't received it because I don't want people waiting too long either. So I'll just claim it back from Royal Mail because it should arrive within 25 working days. After that, you assume that it's been lost,
Uh,
but it's the pandemic, so you don't know of what's been happening with it. um, yeah, I don't know. We're playing it by ear, and we see. I hope there isn't like a massive group of people who haven't received their books yet.
right, right.
Uh,
Yeah, I
mm.
wasn't sure if during the fulfillment process, if there's like boxes you check on the campaign to indicate who's already been fulfilled, and
Oh
eventually
yeah,
it gives you a pie chart or a table showing,
yeah.
how far you are through your fulfillment or what.
I see. Oh yeah, it would be good if. But you can't. It would. It would have to be monitored by the people who receive the package. That they would have to log on. They would have to find on the Indiegogo, log on their backer number and all of that, and click it as fulfilled as soon as they receive that. And I wouldn't do it,
Yeah,
So I wouldn't expect other people to do it in order for us to monitor it. So
yeah,
I'm not going to fulfill as soon as we post it out because then I've done my bit.
yep, yep,
And if it doesn't arrive, then we replace it. If it's
yeah,
been more than those X number of days.
yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, but I haven't had it. I've had people. There have been people who've messaged me saying, "Look, I still haven't gotten it." But then the same people would message me, say about a week later, and say, "Okay, they've arrived now. They're fine. Everything's cool." So you know, they are rocking up. They're just taking a bit longer than usual.
Yep, yep,
That's the general tendency. Yeah.
yeah. Statistical Zero says that That's like a Norman Rockwell thing. He told a whole story
Yeah,
basically in one image.
yeah. Norman Rockwell's great. The Americana, very good example. You know,
Hmm.
you can glean the whole everything that it's about. He just had this really good way of storytelling in one image. Yeah,
Yeah, I like his work.
yeah,
Do
classic
you have
stuff.
do you have in your collection the Shadow or the Phantom?
No, no, I don't know those two. The Phantom that came out in the 90s. Um, I never watched that, and I don't think I watched The Shadow. No. Is it a recommendation?
Uh,
Stato?
Possibly. um, it's been so long since I've seen either of those movies, but
I'm sure The Phantom is a 90s movie.
I think so. Statistical Zero says it must have been 2 or 3 weeks to get his.
Yeah, I think his was posted out after after the worst of it. You know, let's see. Both based on old comic strips. They're fun. The Phantom, if you like Batman 66. Okay. Alrighty. I'll take that as a recommendation.
Now, was Batman 66 as in Batman from 1966, or is Batman 66
I,
actually like a story arc?
I assume it's the movie. He's talking about the one that came out with West.
Oh,
What's his
Adam
name?
West?
Adam West
Oh,
in
yeah, yeah.
1966, where he's carrying
Gotcha.
the exploding shark and running around with a big cartoonish bomb over his
Yeah,
head.
yeah.
Am I right? Yeah.
Yeah, Adam West Batman was cool. I enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. Did you know that?
Very different.
Oh, go ahead.
No, no, no. Carry on. Carry on.
Oh,
Sorry.
did you know that the the yeah, Batman and Robin, actually guest starred on Scooby Doo, the cartoon Scooby Doo. Scooby
Really?
Doo. I don't know if that was a full title or if it was something like Scooby Doo and Friends, but Scooby Doo and uh, the Mystery Gang or whatever. What's the Mystery Gang? Well, anyway, they started getting into this thing where they'd start having including guest stars. I think to
Uh-huh.
keep people's interests, and they once had, or maybe more than once, had Batman and Robin join them on some sleuthing adventures.
Oh, cool.
That was kind
Okay.
of funny.
Like Hanna Barbera was interesting at it. If I, despite all the bad minimalist in animation, it was it's part of my childhood. I never caught that, but I can totally see that being in Scooby Doo. What was the main Scooby Doo show? It was Scooby Doo. Where are you? That was the
Oh
that
yeah,
was the
yeah.
staple
All
of
right.
the show. Yeah.
That's
And and then there were other variations on it where they would do other things. They would go to exotic destinations, or they would have Christmas specials, or whatever the case may be.
mm,
From what I recall, yeah.
yeah. I don't remember those personally, but I know they did. They tried different things. Um, and I will say I was never a fan of Scrappy Doo.
No, everybody hated Scrappy Doo. Little megalomaniac. I liked in the movie where they did like they killed like Scrappy was the bad guy. I think it was the second Scooby Doo movie. You know,
I think I did
yeah,
hear. I think I vaguely remember a reference to that too. Yeah. Batman and Scooby have crossed over a few times. They just did a Kevin Conroy version crossover. Oh, neat.
all right.
Yeah, Kevin Conroy, he's well known as a voice actor who does Batman in the Batman animated series.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, alrighty.
That's
You see,
sweet.
I like the Batman animated series. That was pretty good. I didn't really get into the later movies with. I like the first Christian Bale movie, but after that, the growling, the depression, all that stuff, it just didn't feel like Batman to me. Not really, you know. The
Yeah.
death metal vocals didn't didn't do it. Especially the third one with Bane. It was just a ridiculous movie. Not ridiculous in that I would have preferred a ridiculous Adam West movie to that because it goes out to be ridiculous intentionally, not unintentionally. You know,
Hmm.
it was just yeah, it was no fun. It was no fun.
I actually ended up liking that trilogy. There was some goofiness, uh, and I thought it was kind of peculiar how he ended up defeating Bane in the end. And just like a lot of people, I kind of made fun of Bane's voice as well as Batman's voice, sounding like you can't make out what he's trying to say to you.
Yeah, it's like Tom Hardy's hamming it up as an English sort of actor. I'm like, you spent all your life in a pit in Israel. You're not going to have a British accent. It's pretty ridiculous.
That's a good point. I hadn't looked at it from that perspective. uh,
It's me nitpicking, but it just sounded ridiculous. I don't know. And but also what I didn't like was the fact that they didn't have the same Bane as that Bane isn't the same as the comic books. It's not the Chuck Dixon Nightfall, storyline Bane
oh,
pumping the steroids into his brain and making him bigger and pumping him up. That wasn't it. It's a different character. It's a mixture of different characters. The
yeah,
movie,
yeah.
yeah. So he's
I
got no reason to wear that damn thing on his face. You know, it,
yeah.
it doesn't make any sense.
I think the reason I give this trilogy a pass is because I prefer this version of Bane than the one from I think it was Batman and Robin, where
Yeah. Okay, that was ridiculous.
where they stuffed in so many characters all in one movie. I think they
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
Batgirl, Poison Ivy, Bane, and I,
Mr. Freeze, was it Mr. Freeze
oh
in that
yeah,
one too?
Mr. Freeze too. Oh my gosh, so many in one movie. It makes me fear of what's going to happen in uh, the the Batman movie that's coming out with the Twilight actor.
Yeah, yeah. I think, look, you can make a wonderful movie with a terrible actor. Well, he could be a good actor. It's just like he's got the Twilight baggage. Fine,
Yeah,
it could still be good. I'm willing to give it a go.
yeah.
What I would love to see, what I would really love to see, like I really enjoyed Joker, and I'm wondering, if you had to take, what kind of Batman would come out of that universe? Would the Batman even exist, or would he be? Because the Batman is the Joker was a paranoid psychotic, paranoid schizophrenic. Uh, would the Batman be an actual person, or would he be a figment of the Joker's wild imagination? Would the
Uh,
Batman just be a cop, who the Joker believes is everywhere, that knows everything, that has almost supernatural powers? You could put a completely different spin on the Batman by creating him in that universe, or doing a movie like that, and
mm,
you would have it in this gritty sort of 80s style, like this. You would have the souped up 80s Batmobile. The armor would look very different. Everything would be, I don't know. You could make something quite sexy, I think. You know, and it wouldn't be a superhero movie either. Like the same way the Joker wasn't a superhero movie.
right, right.
It would be more of a Scorsese sort of Batman, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen the Joker yet. Oddly enough, I've heard
Really,
so many good reviews, and I do want to watch it. I just never, never got around to it. Um,
it's good. Have you seen King of Comedy by
no, I haven't.
Scorsese?
I heard it's like
Okay, that's good.
loosely based off of that, and I probably
It's kind of, people are saying Sorry.
Oh, I was just adding that I probably should see that first before I.
No, no, no. You should. I think it's good if you just watch the Joker cold. I mean, because it's like a mix between Taxi Driver and King of Comedy. I think
Yeah, that's what
kind of.
I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you haven't watched those, I think you'll probably enjoy Joker more. You know, because you
Oh,
wouldn't make those connections.
oh,
Yeah.
nice. I might just do that. Statistical Zero says still waiting for a good Mr. Freeze, Clayface, or Man Bat movie.
Clayface is it? Well, the three Clayfaces. Yeah.
There's three Clayfaces?
Yep. The Alan Grant run had three Clayfaces, and there was a Feats of Clay was a storyline. This was in the late 80s, early 90s, and they had all three different Clayfaces, different characters with different powers. And it was extremely good. It was illustrated by Norm Brayfogle.
Hmm.
Yeah, very, very, very good. I recall. I read those, and that's when I was like at my height of my interest in Batman. Just extremely good stuff. And of course, in the animated series, they do a very good job of representing Clayface, but they only take one of the Clayfaces.
So there were in one book they had three different Clayfaces.
Yep. Yeah, with different origins. They all happen to have the same sort of name,
Oh
and all
wow.
conspired to take out Batman.
Hmm.
So it was the Mud Pack. Yeah, the Mud Pack. Stat knows. You're more on the ball with it than I am.
Okay. Uh, yeah, I mean the thing about the going back to Bane, uh, I know a bunch about Batman, but I never collected the book because by the time I started collecting comics, he was in the triple digit issues, and I had this weird mentality where I was like, if they're already this far in, then it's going to take me forever to catch up on the story. So I better not even start on this title. And
Um,
but
that's
that
the
was
thing.
like,
It went through like the movies. The Batman titles went through a weird sort of phase. I mean, you had you had your golden era stuff, which was obviously early crime fighting, whatever. But then it also got incredibly zany, where Batman would take a trip to the moon and go into outer space. And then they in the golden in the silver age, they reinvented Batman. Made him serious again. Which and this culminated in the Dark Knight Returns, and then he's been like moody,
yeah,
hard ass, kick your ass Batman again. So you wouldn't have to read all of it, because there's a definite break in continuity throughout all that stuff. I think, yeah, personally, I mean, the only Batman. Let's see, what do I own? I only own two Batman books currently. I used to have a big collection of them, but my collection got stolen. Um, years ago, but I've only really rebought a couple of them. Okay, I've got Quarter Vowels because I wanted to see what Greg Capullo does on Batman, and I've got The Dark Knight Returns. And I think if I had to rebuy others, it would be Year One and The Long Halloween. The
mm,
Frank Miller stuff.
okay,
Personally, I think that's my favorite. That's my favorite version.
yeah, I hear all kinds of good stuff about that.
Yeah.
But from what I hear, Bane in the comics is supposed to be more of an intellectual and not so much a big old brute that relies on drugs exclusively. Uh,
Yeah. In Nightfall is basically he had this whole plan to take down Batman. He does break his back in the end of the story, but it's only because he had this a really well thought out plan on how to break him down systematically until he himself, took him down. So yeah, he is that kind of villain.
yeah. So I guess Christopher Nolan's Batman tried to go in that direction, but it was still kind of goofy in some areas.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm really interested in seeing what this reinvention is going to be like. I
Right.
don't have any expectations. I personally still think the 1989, uh, you know, Tim Burton movie is the best.
Yeah,
for
I
me.
like that so much. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
I I enjoyed the second one too with Catwoman and Penguin.
me too. That was great. That was very underrated. I love that. That was Batman Returns. Yeah,
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 that was very, very good movie.
um,
Definitely on par with the first one.
yeah. I mean, I thought I thought the whole idea of attaching rockets to penguins was silly, but you know, it all worked together, and I enjoyed the banter between Catwoman and the Penguin and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. It suspend. They did a very good look. Things can be crazy. It's all about the ability of the director to suspend disbelief.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. And,
which I think in the third Christopher, like the third Christopher Nolan movie, it was a case of they shot everything during the daytime. So I had a hard time believing Batman as a real superhero because there was no mystery. You didn't have the shadows. You didn't have because I mean you didn't not supposed to see the whole thing. You're not supposed to. It was like a horror movie. You're not supposed to see it. Your imagination is supposed to fill in a lot of it. And when everything was filmed in stark daylight, it just didn't work. It just everything fell flat. I think it was a massive mistake.
gotcha. Yeah.
Hmm.
I guess a couple of the chase scenes it was at night, if I'm not mistaken, when they were chasing
Oh
after.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, I think I know what you mean. But I like one. I think it was the third movie where he's like, was it Batgirl or Catwoman? I forget.
Catwoman.
See, it's been a while since I've watched it. It was a Catwoman. I I don't use guns. And then later on, when he puts her on the bike, here are all the guns, massive fucking guns all over the bike. I'm like, yeah, you don't use guns. You use cannons, bike cannons.
Yeah. His
So nothing really annoyed me. I was like, damn it,
no his no guns roll move. I mean mantra. It's
no
no.
handgun.
Why do I think we'll see the new Batman stop into Starbucks? uh, I
Yeah,
mean,
order a
the thing that concerns me is, from what I'm hearing, is they're planning on bringing in all kinds of members of Batman's Rogues Gallery, and
right.
I worry about them trying to do origin stories for all of them, or if they're just
Yeah,
throw them all into the mix and expect you to have some knowledge
to
on
run
these characters.
like it was with the Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze. I mean, there was no explanation for any of it. Well, I can't remember if there was. It wasn't a very memorable movie. The
Right.
thing is with Batman is because the Rose Gallery is very divergent. I mean, like the Man Bat is hard science fiction. It's a guy who turns into something almost like a werewolf. You have to suspend a lot of disbelief for that. Compare that to somebody like Two Face, which is a lot more plausible. It's a guy with a physical disfigurement who is a schizophrenic.
Hmm.
You know, you could. I don't know how you could have Two Face and a few other plausible characters like Catwoman. You could have the Penguin. Those and the Riddler, they could all play together quite well. But if you had to add Clayface, Mister Freeze, you know, um, Killer Croc, all that stuff, that takes a whole. It's a whole new level of believability.
Yeah.
That's all. When you do it in comics, it's such a big deal because you've got your origin story somewhere else. You just say, put a little note there, say editor, refer to issue so and so, and you leave it up to the reader to just suspend disbelief. You're willing to do a lot more for comic books. You
Hmm.
fill a lot. You're more willing to fill things in if it's a comic book than it is a movie. I don't know. That's my take on it. It'll take a savvy director to do it properly. Um, I don't know. For the man, like for Man Bat, that would be a movie on its own. You know, I can't to have Batman and then have Man Bat in the same. I don't know. I don't know how you'd do that. You'd have to change the tone. You couldn't have a Christopher Nolan Man Bat movie. You
Hmm.
get what I'm saying? Christopher Nolan, his style of Batman villains is almost like even though the scripts are goofy, the characters are all grounded, and none of them have superpowers as such.
Mm-hmm.
They're all just crazy people.
Yeah.
Whereas you'll add like the supernatural element, it'll be too much of a it'll just become too much out of you know, it'll ask too much of the audience,
Right.
in my opinion. I don't know.
Right.
I'm
Uh,
glad I don't make movies.
Statistical Zero says, oh, replying to it's no one. Well, Michael Keaton's Batman was shelling Diet Coke, and Batman Returns in Forever shelled McDonald's, so it's possible. Those commercials make me
Right.
old. There was, I think it was the movie Batman and Robin with George Clooney, where they advertised Visa. You know, I don't leave the Batcave without it. some crap
Right.
like that. When I saw and heard that, I just groaned. It was like, oh dear.
It's all
Yeah.
about the tone that you set in the beginning. I mean, if it was Adam West's Batman, you could do that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. True. I remember.
Yeah, there we go. He's saying exactly what. Yeah, that's he made the point before. Luke made the point before I made it. I just didn't read. I didn't read the comment.
It's partially because I fall behind easily on the chat. The problem with Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy is that it's so grounded in reality that there's no room for the fantastic. You would never see Mr. Freeze or Man-Bat or Clayface show up. Excuse me. Yeah, that's a very good point from both of you. Yeah, Nolan broke his rules in the third one by making it too comic booky for what he was doing. It didn't fit.
Destroying the whole city was just too comic booky for the characters. Is that what you mean, Mr. Because that was my big problem. He
Possibly.
didn't have a clear he didn't have a clear motivation why he wanted to destroy Gotham. There wasn't. It didn't make sense to me. It seems like a whole lot of trouble to go to for no good reason.
Yeah, and then trap all the cops in underground and sewers or whatever. Yeah.
What's he
I
saying?
think they're taking from Long Halloween for this next movie, or at least parts of it. Yeah, I think you're right. Excuse me.
Cool.
The first Clayface might work. He was a serial killer with a mask.
Yeah, that's right. I was thinking of the ones who rather him than the ones who transmogrified his body into different people. He, not the shape-shifting one.
Yeah, I thought that was a whole thing about Clayface. His whole shtick that he could morph his face at least. But I don't know enough about the lore of all the rogues gallery criminals. It'll overload suspension of disbelief because there was no precedent for that level of power before. Yeah.
Did you watch? Have you read Dick Tracy comics?
I don't know if I've read them, but I think I used to read it in the comic strips in the newspapers. Yeah.
I kind of see, and when they made the movie, they literally just translated those same villains. They didn't give any backstories or anything because they were such the way they looked, with the weird shaped heads and stuff. They didn't need any sort of backstory. They fit in so well. They slotted in so well in the world of Dick Tracy that you didn't miss a beat by having them in there. And if you had to have a rogues gallery for Batman, you should pick the villains who do that for you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they literally just plopped them in and you accepted it. It was easy to get into it.
Yeah, nobody really knows what the Joker's origin story is. They've only really, Alan Moore explored it in The Killing Joke, and obviously took some of that into the movie, which you just have to watch. But otherwise, normally people just assume, okay, accept he's a crazy villain, and they get on with it, and you build your story around that. Same with the Penguin. He just slots so well into the Riddler too. You don't need to get into this big backstory. Killer Croc, you kind of do. Why is he a big, scaly, anthropomorphic crocodile? So you need some explanation there to tell you. You can't just show up and start kicking people's asses because they're going to be, okay, this is too much. Why? How did this happen? Where are we? You know. So that's how I would do it. I would be very careful who I choose.
Excuse me. Out of curiosity, what are your thoughts on the Suicide Squad movie? Did you see it?
I haven't watched it. No,
Okay. All right.
I haven't paid attention to it.
All right, because it did have characters like Killer Croc, Boomerang Man, the fire guy. I keep wanting to call him Pyro, but that's Marvel. Let's see here. DC is getting away from that kind of thing, though. I mean, we just saw Parademons, Seven Deadly Sins, Doomsday, and the Kraken in the last few movies. Yeah. Yeah.
Stats at the top of his game. He knows a lot. I mean, he says Matt Hagen was the morpher, the Clayface morpher. That's really good. A lot of information on the tips of your fingers. It's
no doubt.
Yeah, that's cool.
Santa knows where it's at.
Yeah.
A good comparison, Chubb. You're spot on. Croc started as a thug with a skin condition. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Do not waste your time with the Suicide Squad movie. It's literal dumpster fire.
Is that the one with Leto? Is it Brian Leto?
Yeah.
Leto? 3 Seconds to Mars. Or, I'm probably cocking up the name, but when I saw his interpretation of the Joker, I was like, "Fuck, am I watching that?"
Yeah.
It was horrible. It was just so hammy.
Tattoos and a grill in his teeth. It was like,
it's like a gangster Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man.
I wish the Joker's got him. You know, I didn't like it, so I gave it a hard pass.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's okay, but it was a bit of a mess, and I didn't think the story was very strong, and they gave it a go. There was talk. They had planned, because to them, I guess it was considered a success, at least compared to a lot of their other movies from DC, Warner Brothers. But they were talking about doing a Suicide Squad 2, but the interest has waned since they did that Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey. Harley Quinn and Fabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Oh, man, that was a mess.
Birds of Prey. The thing is, I don't know if it's actually as bad. Apparently, their marketing strategy really messed them up. They took like a similar sort of marketing strategy to the Ghostbusters movie, the 2016 one, and I don't know if it was actually this as bad as they make it out to be. I never watched it, but
right,
it fell flat on its ass.
Yeah. And while it was in theaters, they actually changed the name of the movie because people were so ticked off that it was more or less a Harley Quinn spinoff than involving Birds of Prey. And they destroyed the whole idea of Birds of Prey. It was supposed to be run by Batgirl, who got seriously paralyzed from the I guess the chest down or something, or
that was from the killing joke when the Joker shot her in the stomach.
Yeah, hit her spine, I guess, paralyzing her. So she ended up in a wheelchair and became Oracle, and she oversaw this team and they totally screwed everything and made Harley Quinn be one of the birds of prey somehow, and there was
Right.
no reference to Batgirl.
Yeah, Harley Quinn. I mean, she's kind of fudged into the whole. I mean, she appeared in the Batman adventures. You know, the Batman animated series. You know, as the Joker's work girlfriend, basically. She hadn't really existed before, and when they did adapt her for the movies, they kind of turned her into some sort of tank girl character that demands a lot of attention, that has to be the center of it, that has that wacky sort of energy. And I guess they just saw her as a sort of sexy money spinner, and then they try to make her really unsexy in the movie, which kind of undermined her character.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
from what I can tell. But actually, I still want to read the actual Birds of Prey comics. I know that it was written by Gail Simone, but apparently it's quite good. You know, the character, the writing is actually quite solid on that. So if I feel, yeah, at some point, I'd like to check it out just for myself.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Desert method joke. Yeah. So
I think Leto was going for an Edward G. Robinson gangster voice. Might have worked if he had no tats and a nice suit. Leto is a solid actor, but he hammed that shit up way too much.
it was goofy. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. What does they call it? Over the top? Yeah, um, there supposedly there's a whole lot of talk about Jared Leto having a bigger, more substantial part in that movie, but then the majority of it ended up on the cutting room floor. So when people got all excited that they were finally going to do more or less the Snyder cut of Justice League and release it as I guess, a series instead of a whole movie to give you a better picture of what Nolan's vision. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, Chris. Yeah, there was Chuck Dixon. It was a Chuck Dixon who started Birds of Prey, and then it was written by Gail Simone afterwards. I think I'm not really clear on all that stuff.
possibly, I don't know for certain either.
I
Uh,
think stats money there, and I think I watched something about Chuck Dixon saying, well, he came up with Birds of Prey.
oh yeah, all right.
So
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I'm down for that story, but the way they handled it in Hollywood just screwed the pooch all
mm,
wrong. And I've heard, I haven't seen the movie myself. I don't know if I want to, but I hear they also screwed up Cassandra Cain as well. Um, and it seems like whenever they talk about the big bad villain in it, I forget what his name is. The guy who eventually ends up wearing a mask that's played by Ewan McGregor. Uh,
uh,
everyone everyone just focuses on I think it's Black Mask uh,
right, uh,
as a big.
uncharted territory.
I think they're trying to. Uh, they always seem to talk about how he's supposed to be bisexual or homosexual instead of like talking about how big bad a villain he is. There's over the top, and then there's a obnoxious. Yeah, some of those actors can't tell the difference, especially when they aren't comic fans, but tell all the interviewers they were. Yeah, I think Chuck did the first 55 issues.
Okay, so that's substantial. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
totally. Yeah, I mean, I'd be open to a Birds of Prey movie um, if they did it right. And
Mm.
then there's also talk that they're thinking about doing a Batgirl standalone movie, but I don't know if that's ever gonna. happen or if it's still down the road a ways. Oh, but anyway, I was talking about Zack Snyder and them finally releasing a Snyder cut. Well, that interest excited the fans of Birds of Prey, who started demanding the release of an Ayers cut. And that would probably more or less be almost the same thing, except with all of Joker's scenes put back in. I can't think of what else
There
that
might be.
was. It.
Well, who knows? I don't know. I honestly don't. I sometimes I think that things are just better left as a TV. Like sometimes a TV you have to know. I don't know. I think sometimes a TV series is the best way to do certain things. If you've got a lot of characters with a lot of character arcs that you need to fill in a lot of character turnarounds and beats. It might be best to just do a TV series to serve the story rather than having a big theatrical release. I think because imagine if you got this. Imagine if you've got a property with multiple characters. Okay, X-Men is an example of that, but the movie actually worked somehow. The first X-Men movie, but with all those intertwining storylines and origin stories and things, don't you think it would have been better served to have an X-Men TV series on first release than a movie? Because then you could really have developed those characters. You would have given them so much more room to breathe and come into their own on a longer sort of time frame than just try and bash everything out from between 1.5 and 3 hours in a theatrical release. They're just very different beasts. And sometimes I think to myself, okay, it's just money driving this thing. Like they want a theatrical release for, I don't know. I guess, but with TV series and things, they've gotten much bigger budgets. With Netflix and that sort of thing, you're getting a hell of a lot of, you're getting a lot. It's a different sort of thing. TV series now is different to TV series in the 80s and 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I'm babbling. I don't really know what I'm talking about. I don't watch nearly enough TV. But yeah, I don't know. Different formats, different horses for courses. Like when they were talking about a Sandman TV series, I thought, okay, this is much better. This is a much better idea than having a Sandman movie or a Judge Dredd or 2000 AD inspired TV series. Because it's an anthology comic, it would work so much better than having a movie. Not that the movie wasn't bad; the movie was great. The 2012 Dredd movie was awesome. Even though it just felt like one episode out of a whole series of episodes, it wasn't the definitive beginning, middle, and end of Dredd's story. If you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
They've done 2 movies of Judge Dredd already. The Sylvester Stallone one, and then the one with that other actor.
Karl Urban. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought both of them.
Did you watch both?
I watched both. Yeah. I thought they were pretty cool.
I like the Stallone movie, except for the part where he takes off the helmet and becomes a Stallone vehicle. Then it stops being a Judge Dredd movie for me. The beginning is nice and everything. I really love the way they did the city. You can see it's a really high budget feature. A lot of cool things happening in the background. It's pretty good, and I love when he goes into the cursed earth and he meets the Angel Gang. I think that's really really awesome. But at some point, it stops being a Judge Dredd movie. That's the problem.
That's a good point. Yeah.
With Karl Urban's one, that's exactly how it is. He's supposed to be this faceless state machine. He is just an embodiment of state authority. And they had a very 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 good idea to put the rookie Judge Anderson in there, who had the emotional charge. She connected with the audience. whereas Judge Dredd was just a catalyst. You know, everything that he is just a symptom of this world, and she is the humanity that, you know. See, that balance worked incredibly well. I thought I really enjoyed it for that reason.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, you know what? Let's play the trailer.
Oh, that's Captain Effords. Yeah, that's his review.
Yeah, that's true.
Welcome, fuckers.
Do you want to? Have you seen
Scotland?
I
was just going to ask, have you seen the 6 a.m. comics hip hop review of Merry Boys?
No, I haven't. Oh man,
it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
How long
should
is
I find it?
Yeah, please.
It's not long. I'll find it quickly.
Oh my gosh.
My favorite thing. I'm not really into hip hop, but I love that thing to bits. Not that I don't love Cap's review, but 6 a.m. just knocked it out of the park, and nobody's seen that yet. So let me just find it.
All right. While you're looking for that, let's watch the Captain Fuckhead version.
Okay.
Best shit superhero, and today I come to you from my version of the Batcave. Look, shed is outside, is inside. This is where I read most of my comics, so it makes sense if we're going to do a little review of anything. I should be doing it from here. So today I'm having a look at Merry Boys. This book by Chubb has all been printed. The art print done, the 2 books done, the making of book printed, the patch done, the sketch cards all completed. Everything is done for the book. You can expect it in your hands very, very soon. Like I say, the campaign was for 2 books. There we go. So you look, book 1 of 2. This is the cover for book 1, obviously. More on. In this book, we meet these 4 young men. This is William, Philip, Chaz, and Harry. Their mission in life is to save their backwater little English town of all of its major evils. So the first part of this book introduces you to these guys. These guys get superpowers by drinking beer. They get faster and they get stronger, all to rid their town of what they see as sins, I believe. Would be the right way of putting it in this instance. I'm not going to go through the book because I don't want to spoil the artwork for you, because Chubb's art is great. Commie Mark regards this guy as the best artist in CG. So what I will do is just going to slide that right back to the back of the book, so that I don't reveal any of the story or the art, but I'm going to put at the back. Look, there are some bits of there's some fan art in the book, and before you get to the fan art section, there's a whole list of the backers. So Chubb thanking them all, which I think is a really nice touch. But this book is 20 pages of story. It's a 32-page book with 20 pages of story. And the first half of it introduces you to these young men and at current time and tells you what they're doing. The second half tells you what happened to their little town. Chubb's been very clever, got some really good social commentary in there, and it's a very well-written first part of these 2 books. The books themselves, while I get the second one up, the best way for me to describe them is so Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles smashed with Father Ted. If you don't know who Father Ted is, or what Father Ted is, it's a TV show from the UK, from Channel 4, if I remember correctly. There's a character in there called Father Hackett who drinks an obscene amount of alcohol, which I believe who this guy is kind of based on. So this guy's a guy called Parrish. He is the 4 Lads Splinter. Yeah, that's right. He's the 4 Lads Splinter. So he is, if you think of the 4 Lads as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, this is Splinter smashed with Father Hackett. So a drunk rat, basically. In this book, which is obviously book 2 of 2, you do meet Parrish in book 1, but this book tells you Parrish's backstory on why he wanted to basically wage war against his small town that he is that he is the main priest for. Also tells you how he came across and found these 4 young men that he is training to bring salvation back to this small town. That's the best way of putting it. I'm not going to talk about the second half of the book because I'm going to leave that for you to discover. This book has 22 pages worth of stories, so that gives you 42 pages total. Again, I'm not going to go through the book because I don't want to spoil the art of the story. What I am going to do is show that at the back of this book, what Chubb has done is put in some extra pieces of artwork, which are just great. Kind of little jokes in each one. I like the way he's done that. So you don't just get a comic book, you get some extra little bits at the back in both of these 2 books. Now, if you back the book physically, you're also going to get a making of book. Obviously, I don't have the print, the PDFs for that. I am going to, I'm looking forward to reading that book as well, because I want to know a little bit more about the backstory, about where he had these all of these ideas from. Now, if you did back the book, you're also going to get a PDF version of talking about where he got these ideas from, of a book called Sparko, which he did a long time ago, as far as I'm aware, for slave labor graphics. But if you look right in the middle there, you can see that at least one of these characters has been around for quite some time now. I've not read this book yet. I am going to get to read it probably once I finish this review of the main 2 books. So, to give you a review, I'm going to do it quite short and sweet. I was speaking to Indie Comics Dave a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about structure of films. And one of the things he was saying is, if you look at a 2-hour film, your first act is half an hour, your second act is an hour, and your third act is roughly half an hour at the end. Obviously, those times vary for whatever type of story you're telling. Now, Chubb has a whole series of these books in the back of his head. This is just the first part. So in my brain, because it's full of all the backstory about what these characters are up to now, how they came about to be doing what they're doing now. This is like the first act of a great film. That's the best way I can put it. And like I say, drunken teenage mutant ninja turtles going around saving their town. What more could you want? If you haven't backed this book yet, I hope seeing this and this little quick review what makes you want to go and back it. It's still in demand. I'm not sure how long he's going to leave it in demand, because like I say, everything is already being printed. These books are pretty much ready for shipping. Everything is ready to go. So if you do want to go and back Mary Boys, I'd be quick, because like I say, I don't know how long it's going to last in demand. And I also know that the Chubb within Comics Day as an artist is becoming very highly regarded very quickly. So if you want to get in on the ground floor with Mary Boys, now is the chance. Now fuck off.
I always love that end, that bit in the end.
Yeah, for sure.
Way with words.
Oh man. When on your campaign, since you've already been fulfilling, did you basically just order the number of copies based on how many were placed on Indiegogo, or did you also you did account for copies that might have arrived damaged, which is pretty low. It sounds like. Did you also like overprint even further so that you had like some books for your collection?
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing is with printing costs, it's the setup fees that if you print a low number of books, you're going to be paying a lot per unit. If you overprint, the costs go down dramatically. So there's actually not a huge difference between ordering 1,000 books and ordering 2,000 books. There's a much bigger difference between ordering 100 books and ordering 500 books, for example. So yeah, it makes sense to overprint. So I've got about half of what I started out with, and I've still got like just boxes and boxes full of comics here, which I'll do something with at some point. but yeah, it just makes sense to do it like that.
Cool.
Anyway.
Statistical Zero says, "Hey, enjoyed the rest of your talk. I'm going to stop spamming the chat and go have some Dayquil and have a nap. Have a great day, all. Take it easy,
It's probably
Stan.
gone already.
Great to have you.
Yeah, I think he's already left.
Definitely great to have
Cool
you.
guy.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a good idea. Do you anticipate having to actually request a reprint of additional copies, or do you still have a good back supply or backstop?
I've got about 500 copies left. Well, of both, so 500 each. So
All right.
yeah, no, there's still plenty to go around. But but the thing is, it's if that is just for the online backing thing. So I've got quite a long way still to go. For the next campaign, I'm thinking of just offering this again for anybody who hasn't, who's come to the party late, who didn't back the first campaign,
Cool.
want the first books, then they will be available.
Nice.
So that'll be that cost sorted out already, which is really handy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just glad half of them is gone now because it just takes up a lot of room. I just had this huge pallet of Carbex delivered to my front door.
Oh my gosh.
And it's quite surreal,
So you mentioned your wife's exploring translations. Was she also a big? I mean, so much of this book you did yourself. Did she have like input or feedback, or was she like your editor, or?
Yeah, I mean, she's got an English degree and she's very meticulous. So she was I bounced things off her to make sure that it reads correctly. So she was my sounding board on this project, and she helped with the fulfillment.
Oh, man.
So we are a team. Yeah.
Cool. So you guys are self-fulfilling. Well, you've got all the boxes and boards and bags, and doing it all yourself as opposed to hiring a service.
Yeah, I think I think that's probably the way to go. And even with a much bigger project, I think it's the way to go too. Like you've seen, like with Ethan with his Wreck Planet project, it's bigger. They're gonna have to move a lot more stuff, and they're all gonna do it in house. The whole family is going to get involved and pack, and they're not going to be using a fulfillment company this time around. And I don't know what the reasons are for that, but it just makes me feel okay. Well, I'm not going to, I won't be getting external help for any of that for my campaigns going forward. I've got no hope of getting anywhere near as successful as Ethan, so it's going to be DIY going forward. I could just imagine that it probably costs quite a bit, and at the end of the day, they're not going to have the same attitude as you have. When somebody emails me a question or says, okay, X has happened to the parcel or whatever, then I'm on it immediately. I really pride myself on having good customer service. And I don't know if I'm going to be having the same, if my backers will have the same experience if I had to use a fulfillment company, and that kind of scares me.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, that is one of the advantages to doing it yourself, because you can get as nitty gritty as providing the backers with tracking numbers, and so that they have a clear idea as to when to expect it, which is really handy, I think.
Yeah. Well, normally it wouldn't be a problem. I mean, it should be about 7 days or something like to the US, but with this whole COVID thing, I had some things that look, for certain tiers, I did have tracking numbers on them, and all it would show you is that it's been darting between different distribution centers all across the US for some reason or the other, and people still wouldn't know when they were going to receive their parcels if not. So
right.
I don't know. I'm still not sure what the best way to do it. But anyway, yeah, we'll see. See how it goes. And, yeah, this is excellent. Have a gander at that.
And
I need to go to the loo. While you start playing, I just want to go to the loo quickly. I'll be right back.
I won't be able to play it from your screen. You'll have to play it.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay, let me do that.
So when you hit play, be sure and maximize it. And yeah, it looks like the audio is enabled. Good. Cool.
It's just tell me if you can hear it. Can you hear it?
No. You might have to
Mute. I think.
close it and then
Yeah.
relaunch it and check mark a box that says share audio.
Okay, let me close. Right. Okay, so let me just have a look. This is really worth.
When you do the share screen, there's a little box that says share audio that I think you'll need to check.
Right. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so that's the screen open. Share screen. Why is it playing? Okay. What was that? Sorry. I haven't done this before. Right, so it's there. Chrome tab and then share audio. There we go. Didn't see that before. Right. So let's play.
There we go.
Full screen. Can you hear that?
I think I heard it. Hold on.
Yeah.
That's weird. I'm not hearing anything yet. Is it playing or is it paused? Oh,
it's playing.
Mary boys. Ooh, you looking good. Oh.
Oh, okay, there it is. There's the audio.
Slow down now. Let's see what we got here.
Whoops. It's clocking.
Mary Boys, issue number 1.
There we go.
All right.
1 sec.
Oh my gosh. Hey girl. You ever just, I don't know, read a comic that just rejuvenates your faith in humanity? I mean, rejuvenates you like a hot bubble bath on a cool autumn night. Candles lit, y'all bucket naked. Not quite sure how you're gonna get all that soap off your body because you've never actually taken a bubble bath before, so you're not really sure how it all works. But gosh dang it, you excited to figure it out. Because, ooh, girl, it feels real good. And you're down for something new. I don't know how to say this. I'm in love with Mary Boys. No, I'm not like... I'm not in love with Mary Boys. It's a comic. It's called The Mary Boys. Just... let me break it down. Cleft palate, pale skin, not a hair, but they ain't Brazilian. Mary boys, they ain't no merry men. They ain't robbing from the rich, they just kick a little can. Thick package for the UK, 2 hours east of Wales, hitting my door with snail mail. Bristol, more specifically, Papa PC Comics, Mr. Stephan, aka Karl, aka Marcus Payday. Cause I'm paid to play. Now the pages from the Mary Boys, caressing my face and stimulating my brain. Oh, it feels so good in my brain. So intellectual, it's almost sensual. Stroking my eyeballs, dilating my pupils. Iris is wide, just absorbing the light. So the black and white inks can penetrate me inside my soul. Cause as far as comics go, we've all got a hope for good stories, good art, original concepts, something to appeal to our conscience. So check. right in my soul. 4 boys, abortion survivors, one night, a dude with a higher collar from God, mix it with a little booze. Now we got bad news for the sinners, the dealers, the peddlers, the stealers, no healers required, while the city's on fire from the evil that lurks below, which I cannot show, cause 6 a.m. ain't fitting to spoil my words, my soil, I'm rooted, I'm loyal. But I ain't simping for the merry boys, I got a simple critique. 2 issues in and it's still about the priest. He's hoping 3 or 4 can give me more of the heroes because you know that's what I'm paying for. Come on. 2 issues in and it's all about the priest. And I got a little bit of the merry boys, but I want more merry boys. Give me the merry boys. You gotta wait till 2027 to get issues 3 and 4. Prop up PC, put your comics inside of me.
Stop streaming that. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Oh, that was like my favorite thing.
That's pretty funny. Good job, 61. Oh man. So let's see here. So we got the artwork. These are the prints that you send out. When the most recent one? Yeah. So in terms of the perks, you've got the print comics.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get Merry Boys 1 and 2 digitally, Sparko on PDF. Excuse me. Did the Sparko novel come via like email distribution list?
Yeah. I would, as people backed, I would just email it out to them. Have you checked? Have you looked at it, or did you find the email with the Sparko link?
That's what I was going to check now because I don't remember.
Ah.
I think I saw it, but I don't think I've checked it out yet.
The thing is with this is that I think the algorithm marks it as spam if you keep emailing people, and I think a way of getting around it is by using like a mailing system, like what's it called, MailChimp or something.
Oh, right.
It requires a bit of legwork, so I didn't do it this time.
Okay.
But next time, I think it's one of those learning curve things where you have to do it because a lot of people say, oh, they just missed it. It went straight into spam, and I think that's the reason, unfortunately.
I think that's what happened, but I do have the email, so yeah. Let me see here. Let me put it. It includes the digital versions of Merry Boys 1, 2, and Sparko. So cool. So I did get it.
Cool.
All right. Excuse me. That's a hell of a deal. 12 pounds. 40% off now. And this is something that Indiegogo does automatically, right?
They want you to fill that value in before you can proceed to create the perk. I don't, for me, it doesn't have any meaning because I'm not selling it anywhere else. So it's not like there is a discount.
Right.
It is the price is what it is. That 40%, it's just a distraction. I don't know why. I don't know what the thinking is behind having it there or requiring everybody to put in another value. But yeah.
I'm guessing it's another way of generating interest for people who thought it was out of their budget, and maybe helping to give your campaign another extra boost.
I think it comes back to that idea of you're helping make something happen, and you're getting something that you're getting something, a perk now, you're getting a benefit now that you wouldn't have if you bought it off the shelf later on. So it comes back to that purpose of crowdfunding that I was talking about earlier, like in the sense that, okay, you'll get a discount now and later on it will be more expensive when we mass produce the widget or the better mousetrap or whatever the case is that we're making with this thing. That's all.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, since you had to provide values, did the fact that it would one day drop to 40% off on this dig into your ability to make a profit real bad?
What if I had to reduce it? Yeah, like I said, it's an artificial number. It's just, yeah, it'll stay that price. And if it becomes scarce and people start trading it on eBay or whatever, the price will hopefully just go up. You know, so I can't see it coming down.
Right.
With these low print runs for these comics, I could see there become, a few years down the line, I'm sure there's going to be a collector's market for them because there are so few of them. And we're dealing with a part of comic book, like a trend in comic books now. And in future, people will be interested in having the Comicsgate books.
Yep.
Some of them might make it into bigger franchises. Others may not, and the ones that do will obviously be highly collectible. Um, if they're going to be doing, if a Cyberfrog movie had to come out or a TV series or something like that, and it had to become really popular, then those comics will be worth quite a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or Graveyard Shift, or Monster MD, or Death Sworn, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So we got the digital basic. We also got the digital premium. Actually, hold on. All right, so you get Mary Boys 1 and 2 with that one. And you get, all right, 1 and 2 plus Sparko.
Uh-huh.
And then we've got original interior page only.
Yeah, because previously, it was, you got the original page, and then you would get the comics and the making of and the patch. It was cumulative, so everything that if you backed a higher tier, you would get all the perks from the lower tiers every time. But I found that there were people who came to me who had already backed and have already got the comics, but they just wanted a page,
Hmm.
and it was to save them from having to pay for the comics again, because I basically run out of the making of Merry Boys, and the
Oh, okay.
prints, the ones I have now are just to replace ones that have gone missing.
Mhm.
So that's why I just stripped it down and said, okay, you can buy the comics, or you can, and there's a separate tier for the original art. By the way, that brings me to something that I completely forgot about: the t-shirts. I'll be doing print t-shirts. I've ordered screen printed t-shirts that should arrive at my place probably next week, and I'll chuck those. I'll put those on the. Well, first of all, I've got a list of people who are interested in getting them. I'll fulfill to those people, and then I'll put the rest of them on the Indiegogo, I think, as just another tier for people who want them.
Yeah. All bloody.
Yeah, that was actually a backers sketch that I
Oh,
that I
really?
thought. Yeah, like I just did, because a lot of people they back the sketch tier, right?
All right.
But they didn't tell me what they wanted. So I emailed them a few times and I didn't get any response. So I just did like a whole series of just individual characters doing various things.
Hmm.
And that was one of them. And I thought this is too good to just let go. So I thought this will actually make a cool t-shirt design.
Oh, man.
So I just added a very basic color palette to it. It's only two plates. It's red and white
Uh-huh.
on a black t-shirt. So obviously the black lines, that's just the t-shirt, and it's two colors on top of each other with some gray tone for the in between, for the half tones. But yeah, I really like the design. So it's just something that I really wanted to do. It's almost like the patches. Like I grew up with punk and goth and metal and stuff like that. And the t-shirts that we had back then were all screen printed, so it'll be a limited color palette, but you could print on black T-shirts, and it would have this really sort of cool texture, really durable, cool T-shirts that you could take to a concert, and you could rough them up and they would last. And I really just wanted the same sort of thing for this campaign. Just like a throwback, because the comic is throwback in the sense that it's made in a very old school sort of way. It has got the patches, which is very punk rock, and the T-shirts just kind of tie into that. So it's all still very much on brand. It would have been much what I could have done, and which I'll probably do in future, is I'll do the print on demand T-shirts through Avalon, not Comics Avalon, which is a Comicsgate merchandise distributor, print on demand stuff. But for this, I wanted to have a special run of traditionally screen printed T-shirts. That I could just sell, get a nice big stock of them, and then just sell them out individually.
All right.
Oh, I see. There's a question here from it's no one. Will the image be that large or scaled down? It'll be the total size of the image will be. I had the measurements. It's quite big. It's A3, but you guys don't know what A3. You've got different measurements in the. So we'll get you in inches. It was so A3 is 11.7 by 16.5 inches. That's the design on the front. And on the back, the logo is a bit smaller than that. Basically. Let me see if I've got that. Yeah, so it's the logo on the back is 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches.
Sweet. When you did Sparko, did you have that proper comics logo?
No, it was because it was published by Slave Labor Graphics.
Oh, right, okay.
So they had their own logo and stuff that went on that. But it's nice having your own branding. It's it kind of works on a number of different levels. It's because I'm a big fan of the old EC comics, and I like Silver Age DC. So PC sounds almost like it's in the same kind of club. It's also ironic because it's PC, which normally stands for politically correct, and Merry Boys, as you know, it isn't very politically correct. It's just a very irreverent sort of comic and couldn't really care much about what people think about it.
Yeah.
And proper is a very English way of describing something. It's like a common vernacular sort of thing. Like if you say something is proper, it's used. Sometimes it's even used as a noun. It's a very English vernacular, so it worked perfectly. Just you have that as a brand for the company. Well, me.
And then we've got, let's see here, and then the other tiers are already sold out. So are you literally out of all the patches?
I've still got patches to replace.
Oh,
so if they go missing, I've still got a bunch of patches. So I'm gonna see if many of them gotten lost. If they haven't, I might just do like a tier with just the patch. But the shipping is going to be a lot. That's all I'm worried about. I'd sell them individually, but yeah, I don't know how much you're gonna. I'll have to see if it's going to be worthwhile for the postage to the US, because that tends to be the most expensive. Shipping things in the UK is no problem. It's really cheap. But US, obviously, international shipping is a bit more. Might be too much for somebody to bother with, to be frank. So yeah.
Yep. Excuse me. And then you already sold out of all the original sketch tiers.
Yeah.
30 of them. Did you already complete all 30, or are you still working on them?
No, they're all done. In total, it was because it was 35 or 36 I had to do.
Oh, all
Yeah,
right.
it was 30, 30 to 30. Because everybody who got the original page tier, like you did,
Mm-hmm.
they would automatically get the sketch too.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I got through that.
Sweet.
It was fun. Yeah, it was nice doing that. You just had a break from the comic and just do like a small pin up of whatever somebody wants you to draw, which
Yeah.
was quite cool.
Yeah. So I imagine the majority of people got back to you pretty quick, and you were able to nail down what the image was going to be that you were doing.
Yeah, I just email people out and just say, so what do you want? These are the dimensions. Like I said, some people just didn't get back to me, so I just did my best to do a character from the book for them,
Mm.
which was cool as well because a lot of ideas came out of that. In fact, I'm doing a pinup. One of the pinups art print for the new campaign is going to be based on a drawing that I did for somebody who didn't specify what they wanted. Because I saw that, I've got the idea. I'm going to develop that a little bit further and make it a bit more interesting and do it in color. And another one will be the cover of the Merry Boys Companion, of one of the Merry Boys just holding loads and loads of bags of beer and looking very happy. You know? So yeah, it's all being put to good use.
uh, excuse me. Uh, since you're in demand, don't you have the option, if you wanted to add another perk, that being one of those multi-pack?
Yeah, that can be done still. That
Okay.
can be done.
All
I
right.
was thinking of that. It's just figuring out the shipping because if it gets more than half a kilo, then the shipping goes up. So I have to figure out if I'm going to be doing 2 or 3 books, and also the envelopes that I have, they will only contain 2
Two.
sets tops. So I'll have to get different
Oh,
packaging for them. Yeah, and
oh,
then
right.
work out. Then I'll have to figure out how much how much the postage would be based on that different packaging. So it's a bit of a, it's something I need to figure out.
And I don't remember. Did you use what is referred to as media mail, or did you use like a Gemini mailer?
No, we don't have that option. I just use Royal Mail, which is our postal service. So they will ensure that things get to your side, and I don't know if they call how they ship it from there. I know that there are issues with media mail when you if you specify what it is on it. If you say comic books, then the USPS automatically assumes that it's got ads in it because most mainstream comic books do have ads, and then they charge. Then it's a higher rate
Oh
as
my.
a yeah.
Oh, dang.
So you have to, yeah. So I'm not sure how they get around it, but as far as I know, nobody's had to pay in or anything like that.
Oh,
To get their mail. It's just been delivered to them. So I'm just sticking to how I've been doing it just to avoid problems.
right, right.
Mm.
So you said what you're currently using through
Yeah,
Royal
it's like
is will fit 2 sets of
yeah,
2.
yeah. It's this kind of mailer. It's got this it expands from the middle outwards. You would have seen it. Let me
Yeah.
show you. So it's so it's a corrugated mailer that's a bit bigger than A4. So it could probably accommodate about that much paper.
Okay.
And then I'll put a board stiffener. Well, currently I'm putting in 3 board stiffeners just to make sure USPS don't destroy the package. And yeah, it all adds up to add more weight to it. So it will probably, if I'm going to be doing a multiple option where you can buy more comics, it would probably make more sense to get something akin to a Gemini mailer have that brand here, so I'll have to find something that's similar, and see what the capacity is, and take it from there.
Now, I thought you could simply go on the internet and order Gemini mailers off of like Amazon or something.
Oh, you can, but I mean, it's going to be from an American distributor, so you're going to be pay for for branded Gemini mailers. It'll have to come via the US to England,
Gotcha.
and then it's the shipping. Then you pay for the shipping again, and it's expensive. So what you want is something that's like a generic version of a Gemini mailers in the UK.
Okay, all right. I guess I just assumed that they would be like they'd have a distributor out in the UK as well. That makes perfect sense. I gotcha.
I haven't seen it. I've looked at it. Whenever I've looked for because it did cross my mind in the beginning when I was looking at the options for posting them out, and I knew that people were quite hard on Gemini mailers, so I looked for it, and the only places I saw it being sold were all US based companies. That's the problem. Yeah. So, and the other thing is, I looked at Ethan's project, so his Cyberfrog comics, and they were mailed out in the same folders that I have, in the same mailers that I have. He didn't use Gemini for that. So I thought, okay, that should be good enough. I'll take it. I'll take a chance. You know, just do the same thing as he's doing, and just see if that works out for everybody.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll get some more interest if you have a multi-pack whenever you get a chance to do so. And
I think maybe. Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I was thinking maybe for the next campaign, maybe I'll offer that, because there will be a renewed interest, hopefully, in the old issues, or people who want more issues, or something like that. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this campaign has mostly run its course for the time being. So what I really want to do is just get on the next one and just make more. Get the next thing out, and hopefully that'll just interest will build for the first book again after that.
Yeah, I was just going to add the image you ended up choosing for the T-shirt. Whoever ended up getting that original sketch, that's probably going to end up being worth a lot since it's the one that was chosen.
Yeah, it was an afterthought. I didn't intend for it to be a T-shirt design. So yeah, they did. Yeah, they'll be happy.
Yeah,
if it becomes popular, if it becomes a really popular design, like a perennial sort of design, then yeah.
Is he playing kick the can basically? You know, using his paddle to hit the can down the road, or?
Oh no, it was just cans flying around. Because there would just be a lot of cans everywhere where they would be, because they're constantly chugging lager.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. And then
I imagine. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that I imagine when they go out on a night of vigilantism, they would take a huge bag of lager, a massive, like 1 or 2 backpacks full, and they would just work through that and just leave the cans everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of this campaign itself, you were planning on putting the T-shirt as a tier, right? Yeah,
I think just because people trust the shop front, Oh yes, Luke has gotten himself he's told me he wants a T-shirt, so yeah, I'll be sending one out to him. But yeah, I was thinking for everybody else, just put it on there, because then everything is together in the same place. I mean, you end up paying more fees that way, but I mean, if it gets more eyes on it, then it might be worth it.
Yeah.
We see the only problem is, because it's not print on demand, I've got a limited stock of X number of T-shirts, for different sizes. So you need to coordinate, and people need to, after they've backed it, they need to get back to me and say, okay, I want this size, and hopefully you will still have that size in stock. So I guess I'll put a limited number on Indiegogo, and not go right down to the bone with the sizes. So I'll sell a certain amount of Indiegogo. The rest I'll just put on eBay for people to buy through there, or just if they want to contact me through PayPal, and I could just take their sizes. But it's like I said, they should arrive next week, and I'll do like a video so people can get good photos of them. Because from what I've seen, I've gotten some test prints, and those look astronomical.
Cool.
So once I can. I can just take like a video showing things in greater detail. I think more people will be interested in having them. I got them like with the patches. I'm getting them mostly for myself. I'm going to be wearing these for quite a while. I'll wear them to death.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you are working with like a company to do these shirts.
Oh yeah. I've got a mate of mine's got a metal band, and he's very particular about the quality of his shirts. That's something I've always really appreciated. Really good, durable, high quality T-shirts.
Yeah.
And he's giving me a reference to this guy that he uses out in Poland. So I've been communicating with him. Very easy to deal with, and it'll all be next week.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, also Liz's patch. Yeah. Really cool. And I finally got around. I finally responded to you regarding my interest in the shirt, but I realized I forgot all about telling you what size I'd be interested in. But
All right. Okay. Cool. Okay. So I can put you down for one. Yeah. Just make sure that you because it's European sizes, so you just need to check. Yeah. I made a.
I hadn't thought of that.
It's a bit different. I made a comparison chart which shows it in inches.
Oh, all right. Yeah, because yeah, I don't even remember what my measurements are. I guess I'd have to try and find a way to either do it myself or get someone to measure me, like at a clothing store. That's a good point. Go ahead. You were saying?
Oh no, I was just looking for the chart. I'll just send that through to you, so that you have that. Yeah, that's the only downside. But on the other hand, I mean, every clothing company in the US has got its own, small. You can't go by small, medium, large as a definite sort of standard, because every company's got different cuts and different measurements for these things.
Mm-hmm.
What I understand. So
yeah, I noticed when it comes to clothes that are imported to the U.S. from like Thailand and China and Vietnam, they tend to run smaller. So I have to go up a size or possibly two. I don't want to be swimming in it, but Death Metal Hero suggests order at least a size up from what you normally wear. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I go based off of that guidance, then instead of the extra large I typically wear, then I'll need a double XL.
Yeah, for American, I wear an American large, but I wear a double XL in these sizes. That's what I remember. But on the other hand, I don't know if it's a consistent American large. How big? If it's a big American large or a smaller American large. So it's kind of difficult to give you a steer on that. Let me just try. Sorry, let me just try and. I've got a different laptop here. Let me just try and find. I'll send you the. The size chart when I find it again. Right. Yeah. But yeah, Lots of stuff happening.
Yeah. So after, or are you planning on announcing your? Oh, hold on. Here, let's see. That. Yeah, that's what I ordered as well. Double XL. Yeah. Cool deal. Yeah, print on demand is pretty cool because you print it as you need them, so you don't have all
Yeah,
excess inventory sitting in a warehouse.
it's far more convenient. It's far more convenient. It's just on darker shirts. I find that it's you don't know what you don't know exactly what because you need some pre-process to get it to work on darker process. So if you're going to be doing a design, you first have to print a white panel or a white in the same shape as your design on that t-shirt, and then you can print with the colors on top of that.
Oh,
So it's a different. Some use that process, some don't, and you never know if you're going with Spreadshirt or Redbubble or whatever whether they're going to be doing that. I set up a Redbubble account a while back and I ordered some T-shirts on different colored T-shirts, and while it was okay on lighter T-shirts, it wasn't the same on darker ones. On
hmm.
darker T-shirts, it just looked bad. It just really wasn't worth it. The lighter ones, it was good, but it wasn't as good as screen printed shirts, in my opinion. So I don't know. Yeah, I thought
Hmm.
I'd give this a go first.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's the thing about clothes in different countries. There's not like one solid standard nation globally.
No, unfortunately, no. Same with shoe size is a bit of a nightmare.
Oh man, yeah, I can only imagine. And then add to it how women's sizes are all over the charts.
Oh, geez, don't get me started on that. Yeah, that must be a bloody nightmare. I mean, if you're gonna be, I think as a general rule is if you've been ordering, you know, clothes, you should just go into a store and buy it like that. It's just really hard.
I know.
Yeah, you shouldn't. It's just one of those things you really generally shouldn't buy online.
Yeah,
Here I am selling stuff online. So make
I
it
gotta
instant.
agree. Yeah, yeah, definitely give me that sizing chart as soon as you get a chance. You might also post it to your updates tab on this campaign for
Yeah.
because because the sizing chart is in centimeters, the one you have here.
Yep.
So yeah, that would be a handy table to have for the.
Here we go. I got it. I found it. I'll just save that to my. It's always hard changing computers and things because all your documents and things are on a different hard drive. I
Oh,
just haven't had much luck with computers lately. My PC gave up the ghost, and I had to get a new one.
oh dear.
Yeah, and my laptop also wasn't doing what it was supposed to do, so I had to get a new one for that too.
Oh man. Whoa. So you had to get
Yeah,
two new computers recently.
yeah, it was a pain.
How old were they? The
Well,
two
the
that.
PC was 10 years old, so I was expecting that. It just happened at a very inopportune time. I was busy with Charlie's London cover for her Charlie Chaplin book,
Oh yeah.
and it just conked out halfway through that.
Oh
Um,
shoot.
so I lost time having to redo that, but you know, it's one of those things.
Yeah. Her covers are awesome. I like how they all turned out. She's
Yeah, I think. Well, I especially like Donald's one with because it tells a story, of him rising up from a very humble beginnings.
yeah, yeah, very cool. Okay.
Damn it! Where did I save this now?
You lost track of where you saved it to?
Yeah, I'm bad. Computers don't like me. I don't like computers. That's another reason why I do everything traditionally
Uh-huh.
because I'm just an idiot when it comes to
Uh,
this sort of thing.
I was gonna say if I were local, I'd I'd help work on your computers.
You say that you're a tech guy.
Oh yeah, I've owned computers for 27 years,
Oh, well, there you go.
both PCs and Macs, and I've been supporting them for 17 years. So I dig it. I love technology. Um, yeah. All right. Well, I think we can wrap this up here. This was a friggin' blast.
It was cool. Yeah. Always a good chat.
I didn't realize we were going to go into 3 hours.
Have we?
Yeah.
Did we do that?
Yeah.
All right. I see. Yeah. I can see in the corner there. Okay.
Yeah. We delved into Batman and the Rogues Gallery and into shopping for clothing.
Women's shoes. We plumb new depths there.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be on my show.
Oh, thank you. I've been taking time out of your schedule to shill buy stuff for me.
Oh man, it's an honor. I love your book. Would you share with the audience how they can reach you or find you?
Sure. I think the best way to get in touch is on Twitter. I'm there constantly, unfortunately. It's at MerryBoys1. So it's MerryBoys1, one word, and the number 1. And yeah, that's it.
And you said you don't really have a YouTube channel.
I do, but it's not that active. I really should do something about that. I've got I can send you a link for what it is.
Yeah.
But I just need to figure out how to do that. It's stupid because I think you only get your personalized YouTube channel thing once you've got a certain number of subs. And I haven't reached that point yet.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
Yeah, so it's going to be a bunch of numbers and random letters.
Yep.
As a user, I'll send that through to you. But it's a bit weird. I need to pick up the game. I've been spending all my time. When I've been doing promotions and stuff, it's been via CG UK. So we've kind of all just got like a hand in trying to make that channel grow, and we've been reaching a consistently growing audience through doing that. So instead of building my own channel, I've just been appearing there, and
do you mean
people
there's actually a specific YouTube channel called CG UK?
It's Comic Mark's channel. But, what we used to do was we used to rotate CG UK amongst everybody, so everybody would get a certain amount of views. But we found that it played havoc with bookmarking, with confusion regarding where the show would be held on a certain day, and I think the algorithm messed us up too, because because you had to share the views, it would never get it wouldn't get support from the algorithm as a destination channel for certain things. So it kind of mess everything up. So we just decided, okay, we'll just let it be on Coming Mark's channel, and once he's monetized, then we can shift it to somebody else's. Makes more sense like that.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Yeah, I've seen a lot of great content on his channel too. You guys come up with some hilarious stuff.
He's good at coming up with ideas with just funny stuff. He's really good at that. The gender swapping thing was just genius.
Yeah. I was surprised and honored to have been included. I cracked up when I saw that. And again, everybody voted me low. Bottom of the list. But I can say that I wasn't voted the worst or the lowest of the low. I was like,
shame. I think Billy, I think he missed out. He missed out.
I think I ended up like the second or third from the bottom, the bottommost. Yeah. Oh man. Oh,
You don't want a bunch of nerds running after you.
yeah, true. Death Metal Hero says, "Man, I totally get it. Chubb is a blast to hang out with." That is true. That
Thank
is.
you.
And you definitely know your stuff in comics.
I wouldn't say that. My knowledge is so dated where it comes to mainstream comics, especially, that I just still wing it.
You wing it. All right. And let's see. So you can find me on Twitter at WyzGyz Tweets, on YouTube under WyzGyz Entertainment, and Twitch under WyzGyz Twitches. I'm also going to try and delve more into the Phantom Menace side. I spend the bulk of my time on Comicsgate and promoting books, which I thoroughly love, but I'm trying to also do other topics and stuff. And that is going to include gaming too. That's why I have Twitch. Excuse me. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you everyone in the chat and for all your awesome questions. Thanks everyone for your support. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Mark the bell for notifications and be sure and select all notifications so you never miss a video. Thank you once again to Thank you once again to Karl for all your time and for being such a blast.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. I always appreciate it. It's always a good time. It's always a nice, I feel like I'm just hanging out and shooting the shit. That's.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm all about. All right.
Brilliant.
Take care, everyone. Have an awesome day. We are ending the broadcast in 3,